we have to do this. It's a bit of a hill. His mother said, if you're coming to school, you got to bring your sister because they have to go and work in the fields. So this kid carries his 1-year-old sister everywhere. A lot of those kids don't eat in the morning. A lot of those kids, the only place they do eat is at that school.
I thought going up that mountain, Mary's meals can reach everywhere that there's a hungry child.
Did you see what happens after a simple meal? It just came to life.
Love reaches everywhere.
Parkview Sports Medicine's integrated sports medicine team is built to serve the needs of all athletes in all sports. Our team's only goal is to improve athletes in every facet. PSM offers performance training to help athletes get better on the field, dedicated athletic rehabilitation and physical therapy to help them get better off of it, certified athletic trainers in our PSM schools providing daily support to our athletes, and a specialized orthopedic walk-in clinic when injury strikes. Call 260-266-4007 to speak to our care navigators or visit ParkviewSportsMedicine.com to learn more about what we can do to improve athletes at all levels. Parkview Sports Medicine. Become more.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our cameras. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
Joint pain, sprains, strains, or a possible broken bone? Make the Parkview Ortho Express walk-in clinic your first stop when you have an orthopedic or sports injury. Parkview Ortho Express, located at the Sport One Parkview Fieldhouse, gives you access to quick care and orthopedic physicians when you need it most. Get x-rays, treatment, and referrals to Parkview Care, all in the convenience of a walk-in clinic. Call 260-266-4007 for more information.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Someday, you'll get your knee replaced. Someday, a new hip. Someday can be sooner than you think. At Parkview Ortho Hospital, we want to help you get moving again. So we offer a full range of options for joint pain, including outpatient joint replacements and personalized solutions. It's time to reclaim your life at Parkview Ortho Hospital, because someday is today. Learn more at parkview.com/ortho. Parkview, we believe in better.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcasts. When the Homestead girls golf team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
Keep it 100. Thank you.
This is an invitation to join a movement propelled by people who care and members who have a share in the place they bank.
Good morning, Sam.
So when you have the chance to get your first home loan, you know an expert will guide you every step of the way. Or when it's time to buy your new car, you'll be treated like more than just a credit score.
Good news, ProFed can get you that payment.
This is an invitation to a place where simply belonging can help enrich your whole community. ProFed Credit Union. You're invited.
Welcome in, everybody, to Westfield, Indiana for the Class 6A Regional 2 championship game between the Homestead Spartans, entering with a 10-1 record, back-to-back sectional championships for Homestead, who are ranked number 8 in the IHSAA coaches poll. They're head coached by Chad Zalman, who's in his 17th year at the school, 146 wins and just 43 losses. The Spartans bring with them one of the top passers in the state in Evan Ormsby, the senior QB at 6'3", 210 pounds, probably goes a little bit bigger than that. Evan ranks number 10 in the state with 2,415 passing yards under his belt, and his 36 touchdowns ranks him number 3 in Indiana. On the defensive side of the ball, Luke Palmer leads the Spartans. He's their inside linebacker, a senior at 5'10", 190, 102 tackles on the season, 15 tackles for loss, and 3 sacks. He was All-SAC first team and a preseason All-State linebacker. They'll be taking on Coach Jake Gilbert in the Westfield Shamrocks. Westfield winning the Hoosier Crossroads Conference, and Coach Gilbert was named the Coach of the Year. He brings with him a 70-45 record in 10 years at Westfield, and this is his 16th year overall with the Shamrocks. The Shamrocks bring with them one of the best dual-threat quarterbacks in the state, and number 12, the junior Maximus Webster, 6'2", 225 pounds. He has 1,667 yards passing with a 67% completion percentage, 21 touchdowns and 3 interceptions on the season. Folks, he's also ran for 13 touchdowns, 579 yards on the ground for Maximus Webster. And on the defensive side of the ball, the star for the Shamrocks is the defensive end Popeye Williams. He goes 6'3", 225, and just about everybody in the country would love to get their hands on Popeye Williams to play football for them at the next level. 39 tackles, 10 tackles for a loss, 5 sacks, and a forced fumble. My name is Jeff Mahoney, bringing you the play-by-play for today. And with me, as always, is Joe Walburn, and we have Thomas Nolan on camera. And, Joe, this is pretty exciting here for Homestead. You know, they've got 2 regional titles under their belt, one in 1993. The other one was back in 1998. So this could be a history-making night for Homestead.
Yeah, it's hard to believe it's been 20-plus years for regional championships for Homestead, and I'm dating myself a little bit because I called that state championship game in 1998 where Homestead was quarterbacked by Kelly Disser, and Homestead got the big semi-state win that year over Penn, and they lost the state championship game to Bloomington South, and the guy playing the quarterback that day was a guy by the name of Rex Grossman, so the Bears fans know those, but you're right, and really it's surprising, all the success that Chad Zolman has had over the years at Homestead, a 77% winning record, but he's never broken through and won the regional. And oh, would he love to win the regional tonight. But I tell you what, tonight it's going to have to be all about their offensive line, my friend. They got great offensive linemen. When you have all conference offensive linemen in the left guard, Brady Parker, 6'1", 265. The center, Owen Heyer, 5'11", 230. A couple of all-conference kids, and also Sean Rice and Nick Schweizer. And we're going to see Carter Hull tonight at left tackle. So to me, that's the key matchup tonight. I think it's the area's best offensive line. That offensive line has dominated this year, really in the trenches. And I tell you, it's going to be a good matchup because Westfield feels like they boast one of the area's best defensive lines down here. So to me, that's the matchup, is going to be best on best. That Homestead offensive line against that Westfield defensive line. But man, what a great night for high school football. Man, the trophies get bigger and the games get bigger, my friend.
Yeah, Joe, one of the matchups you really can't wait to see is Maximus Webster and this Westfield offense and how Homestead will counter his dual threat ability. The leading running back for Westfield is Micah Hauser, a junior at 5'11", 180. And Hauser he's ran for 132 yards on the season, averaging 7.2 yards per carry. And you said Webster likes to kind of run the RPO game with the Shamrocks.
Yes, he does. He's a big kid, 6'2", 225. And what's really surprising about Webster is he didn't become the full-time starter until the Week 4 game against Noblesville. So you look at his numbers and you think, man, he's accounted for 34 touchdowns running the ball and throwing it, and it's shocking because he didn't become the full-time starter till Week 4. So, it's kind of like Evan Ormsby for Homestead, 2 quarterbacks that started the season really didn't know where they were. As far as Ormsby, it's unbelievable. The first 2 games, 1 touchdown, 5 interceptions, and I was thinking to myself at that point, what is Homestead going to do? I mean, who is going to play the quarterback? And you talk about a light going on and a kid picking it up. It's unbelievable the season Ormsby's had. But as far as Westfield, I love the name Maximus. I mean, when has a quarterback ever named Maximus? But you're right. He can throw it and run it. And I think on 2nd and 3rd down, Homestead's going to probably have to maybe use a spy. And we talked about Ryan Burton. Ryan Burton had a phenomenal season. I mean, Ryan Burton should have been a first-team or second-team all-conference player. And I think you made a good point. I think he's not because he's such a hybrid. He can play linebacker, he can play safety. But you might have to use Ryan Burton as a spy on Webster on 2nd and 3rd down. But Westfield with Coach Gilbert, traditionally, they want to come out here and they want to pound away and run the football. They have 4 receivers, but 2 of them really are tight ends. So they want to get in a double tight formation and pound away and see if they can run the football. So for the Homestead defense, that's really going to be the matchup to see if they can stop that run. And as far as that Homestead defense, that front 3 has just been awesome. I love their defensive ends this year with Isaac Parrish and Andrew Bear. Parrish goes 6'1", 225. He was first-team all-conference, Jeff. And Bear, 6'3", 215, and Bear's just as good. So I think this year for Homestead, the difference between this year's team and last year's, to me, is Homestead's much better at the defensive ends. Then when you put Matt Miller in there at nose tackle, Jeff, second-team all-conference, 6'2", 250, 29 tackles, 4 tackles for a loss and 1 sack. You have a really good front 3. So for Homestead, that's been the difference this year, has been that defense. And then on the back end, we talked so much about the linebackers. How about the corners? Desmond Smith and Austin Keyser. Keyser's been awesome from the corner with 54 tackles, so they have held up well on the back end. So I think the difference this year with Homestead's defense versus last year's, Jeff, is they are much better against the run, and they are much more physical. So to me, that's going to be a very interesting matchup to see how they handle Webster and also how they end up handling the back. I really like Westfield's back, Micah Hauser. 7 yards per carry, 932 yards a game, and 10 touchdowns. And then what they like to do, Westfield, is they love to get that run game going. Then they're going to hit you with the play action, and they're going to throw the ball down the field to Mason Penning, number 15. That's their best wide receiver, 22 yards per catch and 12 touchdowns. He had 2 touchdown catches against Fishers last week. It was his only 2 catches, but they both went for touchdowns. So Westfield wants to run power football, open up the play action, and throw the ball down the field to Penning and stretch that defense.
Joe, when you look at this game here, Evan Ormsby and the potent offensive attack here for Homestead. You look at Nate Anderson, a junior wide receiver, ranks number 4 in the state with 1,090 yards receiving on the season. His 17 touchdowns is best in the Hoosier State. So you got to like this team's ability, even if they were to get down early in this game, to come back and put up points. Of course, entering this one, Westfield averaging 35 points per game while only giving up 16. Homestead averages 36 per game while giving up 17 points. But like you said, Joe, you take out the loss to Cathedral where they lost 56-20, and then the overtime win against Brownsburg, 43-42. The schedule may not be as tough as many think.
That's a great point, and it's not. The last 3 games, they've had shutouts against Franklin Central, Noblesville, and Fishers, but there was a big drop-off in their schedule. And the 2 games where they really had to step it up for Westfield was against Cathedral and Brownsburg. And when I looked at their tape and broke those games down, they gave up almost 8 yards per carry on the ground in those 2 games. And I'm telling you, this Homestead offensive line is just filthy. They can run the football. So So I'm interested to see how Westfield can hold up. Another stat to keep an eye on, too. We've heard so much about this defensive line, and don't get me wrong, Popeye Williams is awesome on the edge, but they only have 13.5 sacks on the season. Now, if you think a team that's that dominant and playing that far ahead and has to rush the passer, they should have had more sacks. But I tell you, for Homestead tonight, the way I would attack, I love the wide receivers that Homestead has. Obviously, Nate Anderson's just been fantastic. And what's awesome about Anderson is 24 yards per catch. It's a huge number. But also, you got Ethan Chambers, you got Jared Kistler. And if I'm Homestead, I would attack with really a quick tempo passing game. I'd keep the stuff a little bit short early on because I think that ball needs to come out fast, because I think a matchup tonight the Homestead's going to have to watch is the left tackle Carter Hall, who's stepping up tonight to play against Popeye Williams. But I think Homestead, if Ormsby can get the ball out quick, Jeff, I think they can attack. And another also good news for Homestead is we're hearing with the ankle with Hardwick, he's going to play tonight. So if Hardwick can be Braden Hardwick, the Ball State signee, that's going to open up some run lanes too. So Homestead comes in averaging 360 yards a game. They've outscored their opponents by 205 points. And lastly, Jeff, no team in Northern Indiana has dealt with more adversity this year than Homestead. Yeah. I tell you what, first game of the season, you're missing 6 defensive starters. I mean, you play a high school football game with no linebackers. I mean, think about it. You go out there and you play the whole game with defensive backs, and you still almost beat Northrop, right? And then you come back, the biggest game of the season against Dwenger, Chad Zolman's home on the couch. I mean, and then you come back and you play Southside. I know it's Southside. Don't say anything. I love my Archers. But you had to beat Southside with your JV line. Nobody's been impacted more by COVID in Northern Indiana. Nobody's dealt with more adversity this year than Homestead. Even had a lot of guys have been injured. Hardwick's been fighting through an ankle. Palmer's fighting through an ankle. And I tell you what, nobody plays harder in the second half like Homestead. So a lot of teams around, a lot of media around the area think that Westfield's going to roll tonight. This is going to be a good football. And honestly, breaking down the tapes and seeing the tendencies, I like Homestead's chances tonight, Jeff.
Yeah, I do as well. Braden Hardwick, arguably maybe the best running back production-wise in the SAC when you combine his junior and senior seasons. Both of them, hampered some injuries this year. Last year, his season got cut short in that rivalry game against Carroll. But one of the names I really want you to keep an eye out on today is the punting game of Carter Dixon. Carter Dixon is first-team All-SAC, and I truly believe he was almost the player of the game for Homestead in that big-time win over Bishop Dwenger. Yeah. Remember, that game went into 3 overtime, so it wasn't easy. Homestead winning at 35-34. Many times they were pinned inside their 10-yard line, and Carter Dixon got them out of trouble. He does a great job of maximizing his punts while hitting the sideline. So he was getting them on the other side of the 50. Carter Dixon on the season averages 39.9 yards per punt, which ranks him number 7 in the state, and he's got 3 punts inside the 20. So he's somebody I really want to keep an eye out on in this game. Westfield, they've had a few different punters throughout the season, and it seems like so far they've settled in on a freshman. Porter Road, 5'8", 170 pounds. He's got 12 punts on the season, averaging 29.3 per.
Yeah, I agree. I think Homestead has an advantage on special teams, and Homestead has won all season long on special teams. That's a great point about Dixon. Dixon's quite the baseball player, by the way. I think he might be one of the top-rated catchers in the state, but Carter Dixon's a fantastic athlete. But that punting game just complements your defense so well. When you can flip the field like that, and you got these backers like Palmer and Schultz, and you got Barkus and Etchinson and Burton in the back end, you making a team go 70 or 80 yards is tough against this defense. So I agree. Homestead's also been awesome on kick return and kickoff. They've had plays all season long. So Homestead has an advantage on special teams. And that's a great point you make. That could really be key in determining who wins tonight.
Yeah, and now we're going to take a listen to Casey O'Boyle, Northeast Indiana game night. Let's take a listen to hear what the sideline Swami has to say about today's 6A regional championship game. Welcome in, everyone, once again to the Northeast Indiana game night previews for week number 13 the regional round. We got 4 teams remaining from the Summit Athletic Conference, 2 others from the area representing Class 4A and 1A. My name is Jeff Mahoney with Summit City Sports, and as always, we have Casey O'Boyle from Northeast Indiana Game Night. And Casey, another exciting week last week. Bishop Dwenger taking down Northside, a battle of 2 SAC teams. Hard-fought game between Homestead and Warsaw, taking on the triple option attack. Concordia, blanking Norwell, so that tough defense continuing to play strong throughout the postseason. And another shootout at Lures Field. Boy, Bishop Lures is really, it has seemed to be suited for those high-power type games, with Carson Clark, one of the top passers in the whole state out of 2A, which I think is really impressive considering he competes in the Summit Athletic Conference throughout the regular season. But I'd like to start off with the Homestead game. They're ranked number 9 in the coaches poll. They're going to travel to Westfield to take on the Shamrocks. And Westfield is ranked number 2 in the IHSAA coaches poll. Both teams with 10-1 records. This is a nice game in 6A, which we'll be broadcasting here on Summit City Sports.
Yeah, this is, I think, a tough matchup for Homestead. Where would Westfield stack up in the SAC? I think this year they'd be at the top of the list. This is a really, really good football team. They've got size and athletic ability on both sides of the ball. Big-time recruit on the defensive side of the ball. The offensive line, I mean, if you watch them take the field, they're not imposing, especially offensively. They trot out 11 guys that they almost look like they're the same guy. They're all similar build, similar height, but they go out and get the job done. I would say their line is very comparable to Homestead's line. If we believe Homestead has the best offensive line in Northeast Indiana, I'd say Westfield's is very comparable to Homestead's, maybe a whisker better. Their quarterback's very efficient, good athletic kid running with the ball. If the pocket breaks down or a design QB draw, he's just really good at finding openings. Their running back too. His name escapes me right now. I'm sure we'll find it here on your stat sheet. Hauser, that's it. Really hard runner. Good athletic kid that, has usually gaping holes. And I watched their week 3 film, Jeff, against Zionsville, killing 2 birds with 1 stone this morning. And my goodness, they put the wood to a really good Zionsville team in week 3. They were ahead 42-0. Were the Shamrocks at a halftime, and they left no doubt who was the best team that particular night. So this is a tough chore for Homestead, make no mistake. But with those receivers, this is where I think Homestead can make some noise. They've got arguably the best collection of wide receivers, I think, still playing in the state of Indiana at any class. And if those 4 guys can catch balls over the middle, catch balls in traffic, extend drives, come up with some big plays, which they've done all year long, Homestead can hang around.
Casey, talking about Homestead, last week going up against Warsaw, obviously that was a heavy-hitting game. We're hearing that Braden Hardwick will be a game-time decision. How do you feel like the team health-wise is doing after the game against Warsaw?
Yeah, a couple concerns there. My hunch is that Braden Hardwick will not play, and they'll go with Sudarth. I asked Chad Zolman, the head coach out at Homestead, if we could see Ryan Burton more in a running back role like we did last year when Hardwick went out, and he said no, that Sudarth was the guy. They also lost their left tackle, Jaden. I'm not even going to attempt his last name. Big Jaden went down with an injury, and now Carter Hull is taking his spot. So we're at that point of the season where Homestead had continuity all year long with their offensive line. Really, from week 1, they had no issues. And they had all those returning starters back as well. So they got out of the chute pretty strong in terms of continuity on the O-line. They kept it all year long, and they got better as the season progressed. Now they've got a couple hiccups there in terms of health. And those are some things certainly to keep an eye on in this matchup against Westfield.
You mentioned Ryan Burton. He's a really intriguing defensive player, one of the bigger players that Homestead's going to try out onto the field at 6'1", 205 pounds. He's played on the third level at safety. He can play linebacker. He's listed in the two deep as a safety for Homestead. And going back over to Westfield, their quarterback, Maximus Webster, all right, 1,600 passing yards with 21 touchdowns, just 3 interceptions on the season. He's also the team's second leading rusher, averaging 5.7 yards per carry with 13 touchdowns. Will Homestead plan to spy Micah Webster in this game?
Well, I think they almost have to, Jeff. They can't let him dictate tempo. He's, like I said, on film, he's really, really good. He's a big kid. I mean, he's kind of a physical presence, almost like Ormsby is for Homestead. And whether it's, a design run play for the quarterback, they run a lot of zone read offensively, or if he just sees something and the pocket breaks down and he tucks it and runs, he's really good. He's hard to take down. He's not necessarily a burner as far as speed, but he's athletic and fast enough to make, people miss, especially if they take a bad angle. So this is a tough matchup for Homestead's defense. I mean, the front three for Homestead, I guess the closest that I can think about in the last couple of years that they faced offensive line was Dwinger's offensive line last year with Vinny Feecable, Joe Henry, and Luke Wigington, 3 big-time offensive linemen, and they would just cut those guys. The defensive linemen would go low, and they would gobble up 1 or 2 linemen in doing so, and then they let those linebackers, namely Luke Palmer and Cronin Wett this year, Cole Etchison off the edge, and then you mentioned Ryan Burton. Those guys need to be free, and they need to be able to run free. If those guards from Westfield are able to get upfield and get a hat on the linebackers, I think Westfield's going to be able to run the ball with a lot of success in this one.
So pay attention to the Homestead defensive line in this one. Matt Miller, a really nice nose tackle for them, only a junior. Casey, you talk about the big-time prospect for Westfield. That's Popeye Williams. He's only a junior, 6'3", 220, more like 225, 230 now. They have him possibly going to Purdue with interest from Alabama and Boston College. So I think it's one of those situations where you're going to want to put an extra hat on him, blocking him from that weak side defensive end position and run away from him. What are you seeing from Popeye Williams? How disruptive has he been in the game film?
Well, he's very disruptive. He's a great athlete. He gets to the ball quickly. He's virtually unblockable with just one man. So I agree with you. I expect to see Coach Bill Skelton out at Homestead have some designed rollouts for Ormsby, his senior quarterback, and some quick release stuff. I mean, they've got those 4 wide receivers. We talked about them a lot this year. Nate Anderson, Gage Sparrow, Jared Kistler, and Ethan Chambers. Those are 4 really talented receivers that catch almost everything that comes their way. They run really good routes, and that timing that was not there early in the season with Ormsby is there now. And I think the weather is going to be pretty good, Jeff. And we're not calling for rain or wind. It's going to be chilly. But it'll be an opportunity, I think, for Homestead to throw the ball around a little bit, take some shots against Westfield's defense. He's not going to have a ton of time to sit in the pocket. So I'm expecting some quick strike stuff, slants, little outs, seam routes. And then if they want to do something more downfield, I expect them to roll away from Popeye and give Ormsby some lanes to pass downfield if they want to take a shot downfield.
So you can see Westfield maybe to start off coming out in a 4-3 defense. Their cornerbacks go 6 foot, 175, 5'11", 172. So some nice sized cornerbacks. David Frey, a strong safety at 5'9", 150. And then Voorhees at 6'2", 190 pounds. So it does seem like Westfield has a pretty decent sized defensive backfield here.
Yeah, matchup-wise, they're going to be just fine. I mean, they've put up some impressive numbers this season on both sides of the ball. This is a fantastic team, but Homestead can compete. I mean, we know this is a good 6A program. Homestead's got some tough kids. They feel like they're probably a little bit disrespected, I think, going into this game. because I imagine most folks will be picking Westfield to win. So hopefully Homestead goes down there and plays at a high level. Again, I think an early start will be key. They can't have any early turnovers or find themselves down necessarily 2 or 3 scores early. They got to hang around, get some long drives with a short passing game, see if they can't open up some running lanes for their running back. And then defensively, they got to fly to the ball. They got to disrupt, and they have to somehow force Westfield to get behind the chains and see if they can't get a turnover or two to change momentum. But Swami's got Westfield by a couple scores, but I'll be real curious to see what the score is midway through the second quarter. If Homestead's in this game, all of a sudden that collar starts to tighten on the favored team, and the Spartans could be in it till the very end.
So Swami says Westfield by 14 points. What's the biggest factor that made you come to that conclusion? I mean, obviously this team's ranked number 2 in the state, and looking at Westfield, not too many losses, obviously just the one on the season where they dropped the first game of the year, 56-20 against Cathedral. But then from there on out, look at that, 3 straight shutouts. But once again, I don't think that Westfield's seen the type of passing team that Homestead will bring on Friday.
Yeah, certainly not in terms of an entire receiving core. I mean, again, we mentioned those 4 names. Those kids are all very capable. Any one of those kids could have a 200-yard night, and that's what makes them so difficult to defend. And I think that's what gives Homestead a shot in this one, because in other matchups on the field, you almost have to give Westfield an advantage across the board. The one exception would be that receiving core, I think, for Homestead.
And here taking a look at Evan Ormsby, still one of the top passers in the state, ranks in the top 10 with 2,415 yards under his belt this year. 36 touchdowns, 12 INTs. He's had 4 in the last 3 games. So obviously holding on to the ball and not turning it over for Homestead is going to be a priority in this one.
Yeah, definitely. These kind of games you get this late in the season, it comes down to, the old cliches, turnovers, penalties, special teams, things of that nature. Homestead will match up well in pretty much every phase of the game, I think. But Westfield's a very, very good team, make no mistake. If Homestead doesn't take care of the ball, if they have a careless turnover or 2 early, it could spiral the other direction quickly.
Carter Dixon, a name to look out for, the junior punter, averaged 39.9 punts or per punt this year, 3 inside the 20. They can also pooch punt it with the quarterback Ormsby. He's got 2 inside the 20. But Carter Dixon played a huge role for Homestead in that victory against Bishop Dwenger, bailing them out of trouble. Expect him to have another big game. I'm sure he's going to be a key for the Spartans as well.
Yeah, he'll be a factor for sure. I think the return game as well for Homestead could factor in. So they're going to have to win special teams, because I think the player for player matchups don't favor them in this contest, in my opinion. So they're going to have to win special teams, get a break or 2, and I think throw the ball around a little bit more than they've done in the past.
Well, it's going to be real interesting to see how Homestead kind of neutralizes Maximus Webster. Like you said, he goes 6'2", 200 pounds, actually 225 pounds. So he's a big-time runner, big-time passer for the Shamrocks. Are they going to keep a spy on him? Will they kind of do what East Noble did last week, where they brought Rowan Zalman just behind the linebackers to kind of be that extra support for the Leo run game? You bring a guy like Ryan Burton to just keep an eye on Webster and kind of follow him around the field. Seems like that's going to be something you have to do to neutralize that big quarterback.
Yeah, I agree, Jeff. And you're going to have to do something, because if he's able to dictate tempo and have success both running and throwing, Westfield's going to put up more than enough points to run away with this. So you're going to have to take some chances, whether it's a spy or whether it's some blitz packages off the edge that maybe you haven't shown all year on film. Something, I think, defensively to see if you can't disrupt that talented quarterback.
So you got to believe that Center Grove is a favorite there going up against Warren Central. And the winner of this game will play the winner of the regional number 4, Warren Central and Center Grove. So not going to be an easy task either way around for either of those teams, taking on the number 1 team in the state in semi-state. So, and in that situation, Casey, I know it's always kind of tough to predict who's going to host. Would Homestead get to host if they get to the semi-state round?
To be honest, I'm not sure. Of course, it depends on, who's had the most home games to this point. I'd have to look at the brackets, but I do know if it's a tie. So, for example, after this week, if it's it'd be 3 games, right? Since we're in 6A, if both teams have, let's say, 2 home games or 1 home game, then it's the team on the bottom of the bracket this year. They're alternating it every other year. So if it's a tie, the second team listed would be the home.
Whoa, say it ain't so, Joe. The Swami says Westfield's going to win it by 14 points. I don't know. I think both you and I think this game's a little bit closer, and Homestead can definitely get that first regional championship under Coach Chad Zalman.
I think so, too. I think Homestead's not getting a lot of respect from the media, and also I don't think Westfield has a lot of respect for Homestead, so I like the O-line. Probably Northern Indiana's best O-line. I crank up the O-line. I got Hardwick back tonight. I run between the tackles, but my advantage is I can attack with my wide receivers, whether it's Kistler, whether it's Anderson, whether it's Chambers. I can attack with my wide receiver and my passing game, and I tell you, it just seems like all season long when the adversity has come or the moments are big, Homestead has always seemed to have the answer, and I think this could be the year, especially with a physical defense, that they could break through.
Other games going on in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference is Bishop Dwenger at Zionsville. Now, Dwenger just took the lead 7-6 after Zionsville scored on a botched snap. So a snap that went over QB Brennan Lytle's head, but Bishop Dwenger has taken the lead there. Yes. So Westfield could be the only team remaining after tonight if that should hold true. Yeah. The Hoosier Crossroads is a great conference. A lot of people like to consider it the second best in the state behind the Metropolitan. But looking at the SAC, we got 4 games still going on in the SAC. Bishop Luers is on top of Tipton. Concordia is hanging in there with Chittard.
How about that? How about Concordia playing neck for neck with Chittard? Chittard beat Maryville by 3 touchdowns. And, man, Concordia seemed to find themselves last week. You were right. I was wrong about Norwell, but it took Concordia's best game of the year. And you know what? Give it to Coach Manigo because Concordia is starting to really come together.
And the score is 14-10 at the half there, and Luers up 10-0 over Tipton. So, Joe, once again, looking at tonight, the key for Homestead, they've got to figure out a way of containing this junior quarterback that can do it all. I'm telling you what, the Rocks absolutely love the junior Maximus Webster.
Yeah, he's fantastic. 6'2", 225. We talked about it. He's accounted for 34 touchdowns and didn't get the full-time duty to week 4. So he has been efficient. He has been awesome. They have a good back, a Micah Hauser, 5'11", 180, who's also their leading tackler, but he's not going to play much defense tonight. So I think that's a good move by Coach Gilbert. Keep your back fresh. And I tell you, that wide receiver, Mason Penning, is dangerous. So the other thing about Westfield is they are big up front, my friend. They average 270 pounds. So probably the biggest offensive line, maybe besides Dwenger, the Homestead has seen this year. And as far as that offensive line, I really like the right tackle, Bronson Cooey, 6'4", 285. He has great feet. He's size. And even the other tackle's good too, Jeff. You talk about Zach Williams, but they got bookend tackles that are good. But the strength on their offensive line is that right size. They're going to want to run that football early on. They also like to bring the tight ends in and play 2 tight ends and run out of that pistol. But I tell you what, I watched 3 tapes on Westfield, and there's definitely some tendencies that you can break down and get an idea of what Westfield wants to do. And I bet you the Homestead coaches really, identified those tendencies. But I think I really put 7-8 guys in the box on first down, stop that run game. On second and third, I probably use Burton or Etchison as my spy. I think you're right with Burton. He's got more size. He goes about 210. And I put a spy on that quarterback. and I play my defense. But I tell you what, the defense has been awesome this year for Homestead. They've had the answers, but it's going to be a big challenge tonight because I tell you that quarterback for Westfield, Maximus Webster, has really been good, and he's really been efficient.
Yeah, it's one of those things where the senior that was starting at the beginning of the senior, he'd kind of earned his stripes, but they had to go with Webster because he was too good to keep off the field. Now, Joe, the winner of this game takes on the winner of Elkhart and Maryville. Elkhart, ever since they combined those two schools, now they got the 6A school, and they got a powerhouse there.
Yeah, they do. It was huge to combine Central and Memorial, and that really made a big difference for them. And I was kind of asking around when we did the Leo Northridge game. I talked to some guys in the regional network up there that covered a lot of the games. Maryville is not the team they've been the last few years. And really, that was evident when Chittard beat them by 3 touchdowns. So I think Maryville's not quite the team. Elkhart's 10-0, but they've had a lot of disruption with their schedule, so we'll see. But I got to be honest with you, I think whoever wins this game tonight between these two teams will have an advantage in that semi-state matchup.
On the other side of the coin, the southern part of the bracket, Carmel and Ben Davis will take on the winner of Warren Central and Center Grove. Not only does Center Grove have the largest press box in the state, but they also have the #1 ranked team in Class 6A, the Trojans.
I'll tell you what, I think Center Grove could maybe play in the MAC this year. I mean, they're that good. So Center Grove, got the big win over Cathedral towards the end of the season. But Center Grove has just been awesome, and so Center Grove will be in that state championship game. I know Carmel's up early tonight, but Carmel does not. Center Grove beat Carmel 42-0 the first time, and Carmel never crossed the 50. So that's just almost too much to overcome. Now, we know Carmel always makes a big playoff push, and this year is no different. But Center Grove will be in that state championship game. It's just a question, who's going to come out of that north end? We talked about the Elkhart-Melville game, but whoever can win this game tonight, I think will win next week in the semi-state. So that makes this game huge tonight here for the regional.
Well, folks, today's game is brought to you by Summit City Sports. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at 260 Sports, like our Facebook page, Summit City Sports, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Kelly Automotive Group is Indiana's #1 automotive group with over 1,000 new vehicles and 500 pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Please visit drivekelly.com. Simple, transparent, reliable. Tom Steele Tire has been servicing the Fort Wayne, Indiana area for over 40 years. They will help you find the perfect tire for your vehicle and other auto repair services like brakes, wheel alignments, engine diagnostics, and more at Tom Steele Tire. Big Eye Fish has been around the Northeast Indiana area for generations. Like their Facebook pages for updated promotions. Enjoy the best fish in Fort Wayne in a family-friendly environment at Big Eye Fish. You're invited to join ProFed Credit Union, where we get to know you to better serve you. Sign up online in 5 minutes or stop by a branch. Join ProFed today and start owning your financial future at profedcu.org. At Ottenwiller Contracting, we invest in our customers by providing peace of mind during the entire process from bid to build. Visit OttenwillerContracting.com. And Joe, I got to take the graphic off here for a second.
Look at them come out. They walk right by each other, and they're barking at each other. That's what I love, baby. That's regional football. Westfield waits, and Homestead comes by, and they are absolutely barking at each other. We're going to have some football tonight. Look at Chad Zolman lead them out. I tell you what, this is the best job, I think, coaching in all of his seasons that Chad Zolman has done this year. So much adversity, but Homestead has rode through it. And can they break through tonight, Jeff Mahoney?
Could you imagine, whoever thought that Homestead would lose their opening game of the season to Northrop 25-21? Granted, Northrop did have one of the best running backs in the state in Demarius Cowan, and Homestead almost played with one hand tied behind their back.
It's been just an amazing season. I mean, obviously no Luke Goody. You move a defensive end, Evan Ormsby, to quarterback. You play the first game with no linebackers. You play the biggest game of the year against Dwanger without your head coach. You play South with your JV line. It's just been one thing after another. But I'm telling you, they have always responded. And of all the teams in our area, this has been been the team that really has played hard and picked it up in the second half. So it's a very interesting team because last year's team was so good and so dominant. But I like the physicality of this year's team, Jeff.
And if you guys are thinking what I'm thinking at home, who the heck is number 2 and number 9? Number 9, Seth Martin. Number 2 is Popeye Williams. That's the bookend defensive ends for Westfield. Folks, Summit Volleyball trains and builds the highest quality volleyball players in the area. From ages 5 to 18, our players are equipped with elite level skills and a foundation of life skills. Jump on board. Together, we can reach the summit. Anderson Heating and Air Conditioning is dedicated to providing the best possible solution for your home or business. A system and solution that fits your unique needs. Visit AndersonCoolHeat.com. El Azteca Mexican Restaurant has been a Fort Wayne favorite since 1973. El Azteca Mexican recipes are sure to tantalize your taste buds. Visit elaztecarestaurant.com. Joe, you see it out there on the center of the field, number 31 for Homestead. Of course, that's the great linebacker, Luke Palmer. Number 3 also for the Spartans is Cole Etchison. They've been defensive mainstays for these the Homestead squad. Number 16 out there is a kicker, Son Sullivan. And number 7 for the Shamrocks, let me pick him up here. That is Jack Woodard. Lyle Beam.
You don't have him on my 2 deep, but as far as Homestead, how about Palmer? Comes in, all-state preseason. He has backed it up and then some. You talk about a kid that 102 tackles, 15 tackles for a loss, 3 sacks, has just been awesome. And Cole Etchison, second team all-conference, 5'11", 200, 57 tackles, 6 tackles for a loss. So Homestead just has so many guys, Jeff, on defense that are so versatile, and they're going to need those guys tonight. So, wow, huge game tonight. Can Homestead break through? And what a great place for a football. We made the drive down here, Jeff, but what a great venue for a football game.
Well, and I thought it was interesting, with the Braden Hardwick injury. He's going to try to make it happen today. Backup running back is Nick Sudarth. The third-string running back is Gage Sparrow, who is also a starting wide receiver for the Spartans. So it could get to that point. The leading kick returner is Mason Peening, number 15, the junior, 6'1", 180, 12 returns with a long of 99. So he can take it the distance.
Yeah, quick update. Dwenger now 14, Zionsville 6. The only reason Zionsville scored in that game was that fumble return. So Dwenger a little bit flat in the beginning with the big turnover, but now Dwenger starting to lock down with the physicality and their run game, and Dwenger looks good early on. So, boy, it'd be nice to have a couple of teams from our area come down here and get wins tonight, Jeff.
So kicking it off here for Homestead will be number 93, Carter Dixon. Once again, we talked about him being a first-team All-SAC punter for Homestead as well. Mason Peening is back deep to the right, and just left of him looks like it's number 3, Benji Welch. As we're getting ready to kick off this 6A Regional 2 championship matchup. Homestead looking for their first regional since 1998. That ball will be fielded at the 16-yard line and taken right up the field. A nice return all the way to the 36-yard line for the Shamrocks. And coming off the bottom, that looks like that's number 85, Ian Brock.
Yeah, Brock gets down and helps on that tackle, but good field position for Westfield. So here we go. Let's see how Homestead's defense can do. I love the front 3 for Homestead. We talked about, I think their most improved part of their team this year is their defensive end. So Parrish and Bear, and then you got Miller in the middle. So let's see if Westfield's going to want to establish that run. Let's see how Homestead handles it.
That's Carson Voorhees, number 34, offset right of Webster. He goes out in the flats and will take the swing pass, being tracked down, but that's a big gain all the way to the 49-yard line. That should be a gain of about 15 yards on the play.
Yeah, and they're going to get a personal foul call at the end of that. You got to be smart with that. That's going to be number 3 for Homestead, Cole Etchinson. So Homestead's going to have to watch that. They like to throw Westfield does to the back out of the backfield. And if you're the outside linebacker, look right there. The outside linebacker is beating on that, Jeff. He's got to pick that up early on.
So after the personal foul, they're going to spot this ball.
Atchison really didn't get much of him on the sideline. I think you could have probably kept that flag in your pocket, but that's just nerves, and that's just guys being pumped up. And if you're the ref, you probably could have let that go. He really didn't get any piece of him. But now Homestead's got to suck it up here and get ready because Westfield's showing you the empty backfield.
1st and 10 from the 35. A 5 wide receiver set as the swing pass goes out to Voorhees. That one's incomplete right off the fingertips.
Yeah, and what they want to do, they're trying to get some one-on-one matchups on the outside and swing that ball to the outside. So very interesting. I expected Westfield to kind of load up and run the ball early on, but really here they're throwing the ball.
Voorhees, a star linebacker for his team. Actually, he's a free safety, entering today with 10 receptions for 142 yards with 1 touchdown.
And that's going to be a false start on Westfield, and that's a big penalty. Now it's 2nd and 15, and if you're Coach Gilbert for Westfield, you hate that because it kind of takes you out what you want to do, because I think Westfield wanted to come back and run the ball there. Now they're probably forced maybe to throw the ball again here, Jeff.
Here on 2nd and 15, 11:42 left in this opening quarter. The handoff goes to Voorhees, and just missing the tackle in the backfield was number 24 for the Spartans, Carter Cronenwet.
Yeah, Cronenwet's got to make that tackle. He had him in the backfield. Check out the traction AP replay. That's a big open field tackle by Austin Keyser to save the touchdown. But watch Cronenwet right there. He's got to break down, make that tackle. Watch Keyser make this play. That's a huge tackle by Keyser to prevent the touchdown.
1st and 10 from the 40-yard line. The handoff to Voorhees, switches hands, and he breaks 2 tackles. Voorhees takes it all the way down to the 4-yard line. That's a gain of 21 yards.
And again, the Homestead linebackers, they blitz on that one, Jeff, and they just overrun the play. Watch this in the traction AP replay. Homestead just overruns it. Watch it right there. Look at that. Look at the cut. Beautiful cut to get to the outside. And again, Keyser gets off the block and makes the touchdown-saving tackle. So Keyser saved it so far, but Homestead's got to break down the backfield with those linebackers and make those tackles.
Jack Pfeiffer now in the game as Voorhees had to leave. Looks like he lost his shoe. We still have not seen Micah Hauser. And Jack Pfeiffer goes 5'7", 175, the running back. 1st and goal from the 5. And it's a QB keeper by Micah Webster. Looks like he's going to get Maximus, looks like he gets to about the 2-yard line.
Boy, he's big up there, and looked like it was Burton that came up and dropped him. I thought Webster had a lane there, and Burton just fills it. 6'2", 210. Watch Burton on this play. Watch it right there. Look at Burton come down, fill that play. Beautiful defense. So now Homestead, I'd roll some more guys up at the line of scrimmage. This is your goal line defense. Need a big stop here.
2nd goal from the 3. Pfeiffer offset right of Webster. Webster once again is designed to be run. Nice. He is stuck. That's Luke Palmer hitting him at the line of scrimmage.
Woo! I see you, Luke Palmer. Beautiful. That's the linebacker play that Homestead needs. And those early busts, Jeff, they had the backers in the backfield. They just couldn't break down and make the tackle. But look at Luke Palmer there. You talk about a man filling a hole. Watch this. That's a big quarterback. Boom! I see you, baby. Nowhere to go. That's how you play linebacker. Now it sets up a huge 3rd down.
3rd and goal from the 1-yard line, so the loss of forward progress takes Webster to the 1. Voorhees back in the game, offset right, 2 wide receivers, and we got a timeout going to be called by Westfield.
That's a good timeout if I'm Coach Gilbert. It gives you a chance to get organized. This is a big play early on.
So, folks, got a timeout on the field. We'll take one with them. You're watching Indiana High School football here on Summit City Sports.
There are tons of benefits to using compression therapy, but my favorite are speeding up muscle recovery, reducing swelling and inflammation, and improving my athletic performance.
Welcome back, everybody. Westfield, Indiana, we are scoreless here in the opening series of the game for the Shamrocks. They'll have it 3rd and goal from the 1-yard line. And wow, Joe, this was a big run here that got him into scoring position by Carson Voorhees.
Yeah, Voorhees is very athletic. Watch how he dips in. Homestead overruns it. I thought he had touchdown, but Keyser gets off the block and makes the touchdown-saving tackle. But now a big 3rd down. Now, look, Westfield's going to come out in the trips, and they're probably going to run backside behind the tight end on the left side of the line. Let's see what Homestead can do here.
It's a pistol alignment here for the Rocks. Voorhees set up right behind Webster, and they'll hand it off. And Webster keeps it himself and piles into the end zone. That'll be his 14th rushing touchdown of the season for the big quarterback, Maximus Webster.
And the difference on that play between Palmer and Webster is Webster goes 6'2", about 230, and Palmer's there. And watch Webster drop his pads. Watch this right here. Right there. Boom! Look at him drop the pads and muscle that ball in there. So good opening drive for Westfield, and Homestead's going to have to clean up some of those busts with the linebackers.
The PAT is up, and it's good. So Westfield takes the early 7-0 lead over the Spartans. We'll be right back after this quick break. You're watching Indiana High School Sports.
I choose to do whole body cryotherapy after practices, games, and training. It reduces inflammation in my muscles and allows me to move more agile throughout my profession. I became a believer in iCryo after my severe injury in college at Notre Dame, tore my ACL, and I was looking for ways to recover, ways to get back on the field. So I'm thankful for iCryo.
Well, wow, that was a big run there for the big QB, Maximus Webster. He is a load to bring down.
Yeah, big size, 6'2", 230, just runs through Palmer for the touchdown. But Homestead's going to have to clean up that defense on that. Those linebackers really shot and really overran the plays on that series. Those linebackers are going to have to catch their breath and settle into this game. But good teams answer. This is going to be a big possession here for Homestead.
Nate Anderson back deep for the Homestead Spartans. One of the up men is Jared Kistler, number 6. 6'3", 200 pounds, 600 yards receiving on the season with 9 touchdowns. Son Sullivan once again in for the kickoff. And this one's going to be fielded right about the 7-yard line and taken out by number 12 for the Spartans, who's dropped immediately. That was Austin Keyser.
Yeah, Keyser gets upfield. Keyser averages almost 30 yards a kick, but good coverage that time by Westfield to stay in the lanes and get down there and make the play. So Homestead's got some tough field position here. Now you got to crank up your offense here and get rolling. Good teams answer, and you'd love to make a statement on this drive if you're Homestead.
So they'll bring out the senior QB, Evan Ormsby, last year a defensive end for Homestead, and he's been fantastic with a 61% completion percentage. In the backfield with him is Old Faithful, the senior running back, Braden Hardwick, 5'11", 190. He's got 3 100-yard rushing games on the season and 10 touchdowns. And play action, they'll get it out to Jared Kistler, the big wide receiver, makes one guy miss and gets pushed out after a gain of about 12 yards.
And I love the play call early on. Let's gas up the offense and get rolling. And that time Ormsby puts the ball right out in front of Kistler. That's a great pass out there, and Kistler gobbles it in and gets upfield. Look at this, Jeff, on the Traction AP replay. The ball's right out to him in front of him, and Kistler makes a good play. That's a good-looking first-down play for Homestead.
Jared Kistler, not easy to bring down. So trips on the bottom of your screen, a 5-wide receiver set here for Homestead on 2nd and 2 from the 24-yard line. Ormsby with the play call. Back out of shotgun. Now design QB run. They saw a hole. Ormsby going to get out of bounds there after a gain of about 6 yards.
And that's a design play, and that's a great read by Ormsby. By running with the 5-receiver set, Jeff, it makes Westfield play a 3-man front. Watch the blocking on this. This is a great read by Ormsby. You see Westfield only has a 3-man front, so Ormsby checks to the quarterback run, and watch the block. Look at the kick out right there. The offensive linemen are down the field. Great play call and great recognition by Ormsby.
You see Ormsby fend off that tackler. He, too, is a big boy at the QB position. Once again, trying to take off. This time he's met at the line of scrimmage. That was number 49 for Westfield, and that is Grable.
Yeah, Grable and Popeye Williams was in on that too. And that play is there, but Ormsby's going to have to speed it up. If you're going to run that ball, you got to commit early. Watch Ormsby. See, he held it a little bit too long on that. Got to get up the field faster. But I come back. I throw the ball a little bit here and attack because, breaking down the tape, Westfield had some problems at times with their pass defense.
On the bottom of your screen, you see Gage Sparrow, number 89, in the slot for Homestead. Got a player on the wing as well. Ormsby over the middle. He's got Ethan Chambers on the back shoulder. Beautiful grab.
Beautiful grab, and Chambers has had a great season. 31 catches, 333 yards, 5 touchdowns. But boy, does Ormsby really stick at that time in the zone. And that's what Homestead can do. Homestead can attack you a lot of different ways. And that time, Ormsby throws a frozen rope to Chambers across the middle.
Ethan Chambers and Jared Kistler both slated to play at Indiana State next year, so they'll have some good ones. They'll have a QB from Fort Wayne, Michael Halpert.
Yeah, Michael Halpert's awesome. But what I like about Homestead there, Jeff, is they're really spreading Westfield out.
1st and 10 from the Shamrock 46-yard line. This time breaking it outside, switching to the left. That's a big run for number 2.
And that's the Wildcat, Jeff. How do you like that early on for Homestead? They show you a little bit of the Wildcat there, my friend. Nate Anderson, a guy you love, my friend. They sneak Nate Anderson in the Wildcat. Westfield's totally fooled, and that's a big play for Homestead.
Evan Ormsby back into the game along with Isaac Bartz, number 22. He's on the bottom of your screen in the slot along with Nate Anderson, the wideout. Ethan Chambers on the top slot. 5 wide receiver set. We've seen this from both teams early on in this game. Wide receiver screen goes out to Kistler. Once again, can he get past that tackler? That time, holding on for dear life was number 3 for Westfield, and that is Wasserstrom.
Yeah, Wasserstrom made a nice play to get Kistler down. I like that play call because they caught Westfield in the 4-man front, and I thought Kistler was going to break that, but that's a good-looking first down. How about this play calling for Homestead? You talk about in rhythm and attacking the defense. I really like what Homestead's doing here.
So to bring up 2nd and 6 from the 16-yard line for the Spartans. 2 wide receivers on the bottom of the screen. Handoff goes to Braden Hardwick. Looks to break it out wide and does. He'll pick up 6 yards and a first down.
That's another good-looking play, and that's a great kick-out block by Sean Rice and Owen Heyer. And man, is the play calling on point. And Hardwick just rumbles down the field. Look at that kick-out. Look at that. They just collapsed the line right there. Beautiful Sean Rice. Sean Rice came down from about 350, 360 to 315, and he has become such an athletic right guard. I thought he could have been a second or first team all-conference play, but makes a great block there.
And once again, it's going to be Nate Anderson out of the Wildcat. Ethan Chambers on the jet sweep. Anderson keeps it himself all the way to the 4-yard line.
I like the play call. They're showing Westfield a lot of different looks. Last year against Carroll in the sectional, Chad rolled out Jake Archibald in the Wildcat. We didn't see it this year yet. Now we see it in the regional game, and Westfield is really back on their heels. So it's going to be important here if Homestead can punch this one in.
And now you got Braden Hardwick in the backfield with Anderson and Luke Palmer on the right wing. So heavy dosage right here. 2nd and 4 from the 4. And that time it's Anderson keeping it. He's going to drag tacklers to the 2.
Yeah, he got down almost to the goal line. Looked like the end out there. Popeye Williams broke through and was on the play, but Anderson did a nice job of planting the outside leg and getting some positive yards. So here comes a huge 3rd down. 3rd and goal early on in this game, Jeff Mahoney.
Lovin Anderson out of the Wildcat early on in this game. Evan Ormsby back in for QB, and he'll be under center. Will they try a QB sneak here on 3rd and goal? Hard count. They're trying to draw Westfield offside, but I think it's a false start on the Spartans.
Yeah, and that's a shame because that really changes what you want to do there. You just can't make those mistakes, and Homestead's been good all season long not making those mistakes. So now it takes you back to the 6, your 3rd and 6. You probably got to change your package here. I maybe look for a one-on-one down here at the bottom of the field to maybe Anderson on the outside, or maybe I go up top. Look, you got man-to-man up top to Jared Kistler. You might be able to make a play there.
Anderson being guarded by Dylan Thinneman, a sophomore at 5'11" on the bottom of the screen. Heavy package to the right, the tight end and the wing. Play action pass, and wow, Ethan Chambers just slipped on that play on 4th and goal.
And that's a shame because Chambers would have been open. It was going to be an out route from the slot position, and Chambers slipped in the end zone. That's a shame because that would have been a touchdown. So that was a good-looking drive. So here you go. You got to take the field goal and get the points on the board. That's a shame because that play was open.
That on 3rd and goal. So entering the game for the field goal will be Carter Dixon, a perfect 4 of 4 in field goal attempts on the season with a long of 42. This one will be an attempt from 23 yards out. That's not Dixon. That's number 8, and we got whistles on the field.
Let's see what that call is. I thought Westfield jumped off. They're going to call a false start. Now, that was close. That'd be nice to take another look at that because, boy, Westfield was jumping inside that line of scrimmage, up and down that line of scrimmage, and I thought maybe Homestead might have got a break on that, but that's not going to be an issue. It's just going to back Carter up a little bit further, but Homestead needs these points here, Jeff.
So Joe Dugan in to attempt the field goal now of 28 yards. .430 remaining here in the first quarter, with Westfield up by 7. Snap is clean, the hold is down, and that is good. So Joe Dugan with the 28-yard field goal attempt puts Homestead on the board, down 7-3 here in Westfield. We'll be right back after this quick break. You're watching Indiana High School football here on Summit City Sports.
This has always been here, and they're getting better. I'm watching, Summit City Sports, man, they're doing an awesome job. And, that's a plug. Them dudes are doing an outstanding job. And I'm able to be in Nashville and watch games on YouTube that they're broadcasting, and I'm seeing the talent. And it is just truly outstanding. And, you guys have seen the talent that's in the NFL now from Fort Wayne, Indiana, the talent that's coming up now, and the talent that, is just here, man. It's really cool.
Joe, a good-looking drive there by Homestead resulted in 3 points, but they had their opportunities.
Yeah, they did. That's a shame on that 3rd down play, that slip in the end zone. But I like the drive because Homestead showed you a lot of different looks on that. They came out with the 5-receiver set and attack. Then they came back with Wildcat with Nate Anderson, and really that was effective. So that was a good drive. That was an answer, and Homestead needed to send a message to Westfield. Now, as far as my defense now on this next drive, I got to clean it up with my linebackers. We have to play gap control defense, and we can't overrun the plays. And that's what got Homestead in trouble in that first series. So let's see if Homestead can clean up the defense and get a stop here. But, man, good game so far, Jeff. And I tell you what, watching this game, it feels like we're watching a small college football game. That's how good both these teams are.
Absolutely. Carter Dixon once again in for the kickoff, and back deep is Jackson Wasserstrom, the junior wide receiver, along with Peening. Standing at the 6-yard line, Mason Peening, a senior at 6'1", 180 pounds. 4:26 remaining in the first quarter. And this time, this is going to be a much deeper kick, going to be fielded in the end zone, so a touchback.
Much better, and that's going to be a lot better with the field position for the defense. So a little bit of momentum for Homestead. They win there on special teams, and now let's see what that defense can do. Let's see if those linebackers, we talked all season long how much we like the linebackers. for Homestead, but they're going to have to really step up here and stop that. You're talking about Maxwell Schultz, Ryan Schultz's son. Ryan Schultz was a great receiver for Bishop Lures in the 1990s, and Luke Palmer and Carter Cronwitz got to play a little bit better. So they got to step up and slow down this run and get some gap control.
And once again, it's going to be Voorhees in the backfield with Maximus Webster. Webster scoring on their first possession, a 1-yard touchdown plunge. Voorhees with some big runs in that first series for Westfield. 1st and 10 from the 20. Handoff goes to Voorhees, and he's once again breaking tackles at the line of scrimmage. He'll be drugged down at the 34.
And again, that's just your linebackers. Your linebackers have to break down and make that tackle. They're there. And that time, maybe there was the defensive end that shot through there, Jeff, and had a shot at that. But look at the traction AP replay. Right there at the point of attack. Got to make that tackle right there. And Voorhees, I tell you what, that's all we've seen tonight so far is Voorhees. And there must be an issue possibly with their back, Micah Hauser. We haven't seen him yet. So Voorhees has been getting the carries.
1st and 10 from the 33-yard line, a pistol alignment. Maximus Webster looking downfield, and he's looking for Peening, his man, and he's got him. Connection all the way down to the 15-yard line. He was drugged down by number 4 for Homestead, Desmond Smith.
And I tell you what, Penning is a big play receiver, and Westfield's going to attack you with the play action and throw it deep to Penning. Penning is deceiving. You got to give him a step. Watch this right here. See the play action. Out comes the ball, and Smith's beaten. You got to give him a step. Now, he did a nice job to recover and make the tackle, but you got to be careful with Penning because they love to isolate Penning and throw that deep ball.
The team's leading receiver entering today, 41 receptions for 896 yards and 12 touchdowns. This time, be taken to the 10-yard line, a gain of 6 on the play.
Yeah, it looked like Voorhees again ran that football, and they like running him so far for Westfield, and looked like Homestead that time got up there and slowed that play down. So better on the defensive end, but I tell you, Homestead needs to stop here. This is a little bit of danger time early on for the Spartans.
Voorhees now offset right, and he'll take the hand. No, Webster's got it. Maximus down to the 5-yard line, a gain of 6 on the play.
Yeah, nice job by Etchison to come up that time and help with that tackle. I tell you what, could have been a hold that time on the right tackle for Westfield when you watch the replay on that. But now we got a huge play here. Now, it's going to be a first down now. So, boy, Homestead needs to stop here, Jeff.
So it'll be 1st and goal from the 5-yard line for the Shamrocks. Pistol alignment, that's Voorhees right behind Maximus, and a good spin move, but he is stuck right there at the 2-yard line. Bringing him down was number 3, Cole Etchison.
Yeah, Etchison is a baller out there. Etchison finishes the play off. I think you might get the hold this time. They missed it the last play. We'll see what they call here, but that was a nice finish by Etchison.
Here on the Traction AP replay, once again, you see Voorhees breaking it out wide, and he is stuck right there at the 2-yard line.
Yeah, and there's your hold, Jeff. We saw it the play before. They got away with it, but credit to the referees for picking it up there. But that's a huge penalty and really backs Westfield up.
Voorhees offset right of Maximus Webster. He's counting his men just to make sure he's got enough on the field. Voorhees is going to be split out wide to the left now. Trips on the top of your screen, tied in to the right. Webster looking that direction, and he's got his man, and that was just overshot, but he was wide open, Voorhees.
Yeah, he had Voorhees, and Webster had to throw that deep out. We get so spoiled watching Deuce Taylor. Deuce Taylor just flips that ball out there. Maximus Webster just didn't set his feet and make that throw. So that's a break for Homestead, and all of a sudden, boy, it's 2nd and goal, and this drive is starting to slow down for Westfield. So, boy, Homestead needs to stop here, Jeff.
2nd and goal from the 13-yard line with 2:10 remaining here in the first quarter. Now we got a tight formation, a tight end and a wing to the right side. Number 80 on the wing for Westfield, that's Reed Sheepers.
Yeah, and Westfield was confused. They didn't like that look, so Coach Gilbert burns a timeout to get organized. He knows how important this series is.
Over at Zionsville, Bishop Dwenger now up 14-6, so that's 14 unanswered points for the Saints after giving up that fumble recovery for a touchdown.
And that defense, Jeff, for Dwanger steps up and hasn't given up anything.
Bishop Lures up on top of Tipton, 23-3. So how about the Knights?
I tell you what, they play that tough Summit schedule, then they drop down to 2A, and man, they rolled Eastside's defense last week. I tell you what, I was really impressed the way they attacked Eastside last week, but Lures just rolls on. And Carson Clark, I watched his tape against Homestead, and you could see how good Carson Clark is, and he has really come on at the end of the season, has had an awesome season for Lures. And boy, it feels like the years have passed with Lures when they make those deep playoff runs. I mentioned Ryan Schultz earlier. I remember when that 92 Lures team, they won the state championship that year. That was the same year Snyder won the 5A state championship. So great heritage for Lures.
Absolutely. Now on second and goal from the 13, and the score is the same over at Chittard. It's 14-10. The Trojans on top of Concordia. Once again, two wide receivers up top, and Voorhees in the backfield with Maximus Webster. Pressure coming from the left side for Homestead. He's got to get rid of it. No one there.
Nice job on the blitz. That was excellent. I love they gamble and they blitzed. And, man, that was a great job. And Isaac Parrish, the all-conference senior, was in the backfield in his face. And he just didn't have time to get the playoff. Watch the blitz and the pressure this time for Homestead on the Traction AP replay. Watch it right there. Going to break through. No time to step up and throw the football. Great defensive call. And now a huge third down, money down play here.
Third and goal. Voorhees 7 yards off the line of scrimmage behind Webster. He's going to call an audible. Saw something there with a blitz coming from the right side. That's Ryan Burton. This time Homestead again bringing pressure. Good defense, but making the grab was number 13 for Westfield. He'll be held out of the end zone. That was Nick DePasquale.
Yeah, Pasquale flashed. What he did was Homestead tipped the blitz too early, and Webster recognized it with the outside backer, and Pasquale ran the route right where the blitz was. Watch this. See the blitz is tipped there? Pasquale runs right in the open hole, and Webster finds him. Now it sets up a 4th and 3. 4th and goal from, looks like maybe the 3, Jeff. So let's see if Homestead can get a huge stop here. And boy, Coach Gilbert's gambling early.
Great catch by Pasquale. Two wide receivers on the bottom of your screen. Maximus Webster trying to get Homestead to jump to pick up a couple more downs. And we do got a flag. Is it a delay of game?
I believe it's going to be a delay of game on Westfield. So that's a little bit confusing because even if Homestead jumps there, Jeff, you're still going to be short. So maybe they were trying to get Homestead to take a timeout there. But good discipline for that Homestead defense. And how about the goal line defense stiffens for Homestead and will force a field goal try here.
So this is going to be an attempt of 24 yards. Homestead's field goal moments ago was a 28-yard field goal to get the Spartans on the board. So Westfield trying to make it, once again, a 7-point lead. And this is Sean Sullivan in to attempt the field goal. And that was blocked.
Wow, and Homestead's had blocked field goals all season long. We'll have to check to see who got that one, but another big play for a Homestead. I tell you, Keyser's been blocking them all season long. I don't know who got that one, but special teams, my friend. You mentioned it early on. Special teams has been their trademark. Wow, look at the hops on that. Wow, looks like it was the hops that got it. Man, you got to take a look at that again.
We'll roll it back one more time.
Watch the hops. Look at that. Wow, watch your head, young man. Climbs the ladder. I didn't check the number on that.
Yeah,
but wow.
It looked like that was number 22 for Homestead, Isaac Barks.
I tell you what, if it's Barks or Keyser, they constantly make the plays on special teams. So Keyser's already blocked 3 this year. Maybe it was Barks that time, but what a combination on special teams for Homestead.
It's going to bring up 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line for the Spartans. Nate Anderson on the wide receiver screen looking to cut it up the middle. Nowhere to go, but that's going to be a gain of 6 yards.
That's a good-looking play. And, man, does Ormsby look under control out there, Jeff. Just putting the ball and getting the ball out to his weapons. And, man, has Anderson come on. I mean, to lead the state in touchdown catches for a wide receiver, Anderson's had a monster junior season.
Nate Anderson entering today with 17 touchdown receptions, number one in the state of Indiana. It's going to bring up 2nd and 4. We got 33 seconds and counting here in the first quarter in Westfield, Indiana. Ethan Chambers going to move to the right tight end position. And in the backfield, the handoff, no, it's going to be a play action. Hits Chambers. Wow,
Nice catch.
big grab by Ethan Chambers.
Woo, I see you, Ethan Chambers. I love the play action. The play action freezes the linebackers, and it creates the passing lane. And Ormsby sticks it in there, and Chambers makes a great catch. Watch the play action. See the linebackers cheat up? There's your hole. And, man, Ormsby finds Chambers. And, boy, Chambers has been a weapon so far tonight.
Ethan Chambers was totally exposed there with his arm straight out.
Gave it
Comes
up.
down, makes the grab, holds on to it. That's a man's catch right there.
That sure is. That's giving it up. And, man, Homestead should really be having some confidence on offense because, man, Westfield didn't stop them yet in this first quarter.
Westfield up 7-3. We'll be right back for second quarter action here in this regional championship game. You're watching Indiana High School football here on Summit City Sports.
This is an invitation to join a movement propelled by people who care and members who have a share in the place they bank.
Good morning, Sam.
So when you have the chance to get your first home loan, you know an expert will guide you every step of the way. Or when it's time to buy your new car, you'll be treated like more than just a credit score.
Good news, ProFed can get you that payment.
This is an invitation to a place where simply belonging can help enrich your whole community. ProFed Credit Union. You're invited.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Welcome back, everybody, to Westfield, Indiana, where the Rocks lead at 73. And, Joe, once again, a huge blocked field goal attempt here. I believe that's Isaac Barks, number 22. He goes 6'3". Look at him go sky high. He's got to have a vert of about 43.
That was impressive. You talk about going up the ladder. He blocks it, gives Homestead some momentum, and Homestead's really come out here and attacked with this offense, and I wouldn't change a thing. I would just keep attacking.
1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. Wildcat formation for Nate Anderson. Right behind him is Braden Hardwick. Braden Hardwick had a nice first carry when he busted out the right-hand side. He did a nice burst on that carry. Anderson going to run right, and it looks like a pass. He's got a man, Jared Kistler. Kistler catches it. He's off and running. This could be a big gainer all the way. 62-yard touchdown, Spartans.
What a play call off the quarter. They come out of the quarter break, and nobody thought Anderson was going to throw that ball. And when you look at the Traction AP replay, Anderson barely gets it off. Watch Anderson here get destroyed. He barely gets it off. Look at that. And Kistler's wide open. 6'3", 200 pounds. Your biggest target out of your senior, and he makes the biggest touchdown catch of the year for Kistler. What a play call for Homestead, and what a touchdown.
Holy cow. Joe Tugin in to attempt the PAT after the 62-yard touchdown reception. PAT is up. And it is no good. They're going to say wide right.
Boy, what a play, though. That's a shame they missed the PAT. But, boy, you go back with that one more time on the Traction AP replay. Nate Anderson. Just watch Anderson right here, Jeff. Look at that. He's in trouble. Oh, he gives it up. And look at Kistler wide open. And you talk about selling a play. What a great play call, too. And it was the perfect time. They're at midfield. They come out of the quarter break, and they roll the dice and gamble, and it pays off. And, wow, you got yourself a phenomenal regional football game here tonight, my friend.
62-yard score puts Homestead up 9-7.
Whew, man, that was a play call. So now let's see what that Homestead defense can do. I tell you, Westfield hasn't been stopped either. Those backers have overshot. And then Westfield in the last series attacked with their great receiver, Penning, and got a big play down the field. So Homestead's got to make some adjustments on the fly of that defense.
Wow, Nate Anderson. You know, Anderson's been outstanding in the Wildcat. He's the only player not named Ormsby to throw a touchdown for Homestead this year.
Well, I wondered if we'd see the Wildcat this year because, you know, Archibald used that so well last year against Carroll. But, boy, it seems like Coach Zolman always holds something back, and it's been the Wildcat tonight. And, boy, did that take the life out of Westfield here. That was a phenomenal play call, and Anderson did such a great job of selling it. Sometimes guys on that, Jeff, they just can't sell it. But, boy, that time Anderson sold it.
So, once again, it's Penning along with Benji Welch back to return it for Westfield. Westfield's got a couple of these double numbers. You know, the offensive defensive guy, a little tough here in Westfield, Indiana. And to kick it off, number 93, 93, Carter Dixon. What a play. Joe, we've seen a lot of fun offense here by Homestead
I like that
early
one.
in this game. And that's going to be taken by Penning at the 5-yard line, up the middle of the field, down that right hash. And he busts it out wide. Penning nearly taken down, and he gets past Dixon, takes it all the way to the 32-yard line. Wow, what a return of over 60 yards.
Yeah, it was a huge return, and Homestead's got to do a better job of staying in the lanes. And I tell you, I wouldn't have kicked it to Penning, but watch Penning, the speed, come up and hit the hole right there. Look at Penning hit the hole right there. Homestead's in trouble. Looked like, I'm not sure who had him there. Looked like maybe it was Keyser again that tracked him down, but that's a great return for Penning, and it puts your defense in a hole. Right when you steal that momentum, Penning makes a big play to get it back for Westfield.
Joe, you told me in your game prep that he's their guy at the wide receiver position. He's also their best kick returner. Had a previous long entering today of 99 yards, so he can do it. First and 10 from the 32-yard line after the big kick return. Handoff goes to Voorhees, weaving his way through the defense. And a nice tackle coming up to make it is number 22, Isaac Barks.
That's a great play by Barks, because I thought Voorhees was going to get the corner. And what's happening right now is the Homestead defensive ends are being kicked out. Watch the kick out in the defensive end right there in the traction AP replay. But look at Barks make a great play from his safety position.
So we got 4 wide receivers on the top of your screen. Maximus Webster. And wow, what a play there, Joe. He turned to the sideline. Fumble. It's going to be picked up by Westfield, it does look like.
Wow, what a hit. Looked like it was Etchison that came up and put the hat on the football, and Westfield's lucky to recover that. Boy, that could have been devastating for Westfield. Looked like Etchison puts the hat on the helmet right there. Look at that. Out comes the ball, but what a break for Westfield.
Wow, that one, Maximus Webster looking at the sideline. I don't even think he was looking at the offensive line when that ball was snapped. Handoff goes to Voorhees. Man, Voorhees is just cutting it up. That's a gain of 6 yards. They're having no problem running the ball with number 34.
And right now, the problem with Homestead's defense is the defensive ends. Those defensive ends have to keep that outside arm free and keep contained. And I would even tweak it a little bit if I'm Homestead and maybe crash my ends a little bit tighter, because those run lanes are there. But right now, Westfield has found something with their run game, and I think Homestead's going to have to move more guys to the point of attack.
First and 10 from the 17-yard line, play action pass, and that's complete for a touchdown to number 13, Nick Pasquale.
Yeah, and Pasquale's in the slot that time, and Webster sells it with the play action and just throws it right behind the linebacker. So great pass by Webster and a great route by Pasquale. And right now, Homestead's defense has been back on their heels. Watch the play action right there. Now he's open. You see, he sticks it right where the Homestead defense is. That's a great route to run to the open spot, and Webster sticks it between the numbers.
Sullivan in for the point after attempt. This one's up and good.
Well, we say it, my friend. Good teams answer, and so far in this game tonight, both offenses have just dominated, Jeff.
So Westfield takes back the lead at 14-9. You're watching Indiana High School football here on Summit City Sports.
There are tons of benefits to using compression therapy, but my favorite are speeding up muscle recovery, reducing swelling and inflammation, and improving my athletic performance. I choose to do whole body cryotherapy after practices, games, and training. It reduces inflammation in my muscles and allows me to move more agile throughout my profession. I became a believer in iCryo after my severe injury.
Welcome back, everybody. 14-9, Westfield takes back the lead. Austin Keyser, along with Nate Anderson, back deep to receive it for Homestead. The upmen are Jarrett Kistler and Ethan Chambers for the Spartans, as Kistler is going to come up now closer to the 27-yard line, expecting a pooch kick, and that's exactly where it went. Keyser comes up and fields it at the 20-yard line, has blockers, and has a seam down the sideline. He'll be pushed out right around the 47.
Beautiful return, and Keyser has been just a special teams demon this year. We talk about Cam Johnson and Austin Keyser. If you pick kids that could have been first-team all-conference special teamers, those would have been your choices. Keyser comes in averaging almost 30 yards a kick, gets a great return on that one, so good field position for a Homestead out by their 35, Jeff.
So it brings up 1st and 10 from the 34 for the Spartans. This is their third series of the game. Scored on their second series and nearly scored on their first series. Turnover on downs. No, excuse me, that was the field goal that was made to make it 7-3.
Really have kept Westfield back on their heels, and they come out with 5 receivers again to attack Westfield.
Gage Sparrow in the slot, and it's Sparrow now on the wide receiver screen. Fields it, cuts it outside, looking to outrun the defender. And wow, that was a nice play by number 29 for Westfield. David Frey popping that ball loose, but Homestead will regain possession.
Yeah, Frey has played well this year, and he's really been a ball hog for Westfield. So Sparrow, that's a nice catch, but he got to tuck that football away. But I like Frey. Frey's got 55 tackles. Look at Frey right there. Punch that ball away. Frey has 55 tackles on the year, but a good-looking play on first down for Homestead. And you really got to protect the football because so far with these offenses rolling, you don't want to make a turnover.
1st and 10 from the 44-yard line after the gain of 10 yards. Homestead with a 5-receiver set, trips on the top of your screen. Ormsby stays in the pocket. That one off the fingertips of Kistler, and it's intercepted by number 3 for Westfield, Benji Welch.
Now you got a penalty flag down the play. We'll see what that is. But Jared Kistler has got to make that catch because Ormsby is moving in the pocket, and Ormsby put that ball on the money, and Kistler's got to make that catch for Homestead. Look at the traction AP replay. Ormsby's moving in the pocket. See, steps up. That ball's right to Kistler. You got to make that catch for Kistler. Now you're going to have a penalty on the return on Westfield, Jeff. I think maybe an illegal block, so that's going to back Westfield up. But Kistler has got to make that catch.
Yeah, that was Sean Rice coming off slow off the field, had his helmet off. I'm not sure if he took an illegal block.
It should have been a personal foul because Rice got absolutely hammered on the back end, and those are the plays you're supposed to be protecting because they're going to call an illegal block. Should have been a personal foul. But now that Homestead defense has got to suck it up and do a better job here.
So for the Shamrocks, 1st and 10 from the 45-yard line, play action, and being chased was Webster. Good out pattern to D. Pasquale.
Yeah, and that time with Desmond Smith, that's too big of a cushion. That's a good route by D. Pasquale, and Webster shows you that he can throw the football on the run. But Desmond Smith on that route, he's got to close that down and be a little bit closer. So, boy, Westfield's got some momentum with their offense right now and really in a nice tempo.
2nd one after the 9-yard gain, trips on the bottom of your screen, and the handoff goes to Voorhees. This time he's drugged down from behind. Looks like that was number 46, Andrew Bear.
Yeah, Bear's been awesome this year at the defensive end position. I tell you, I really like their defensive ends, Jeff. Bear comes in tonight with 54 tackles, 7 tackles for a loss and 5 sacks, and they need him to be big in this game.
1st and 10 from the 45-yard line out of the pistol formation. Play action, and that pass goes through the fingertips. That was a rope to Mason Peening.
Yeah, they ran the play action. They like to throw to Peening off the play action, and that time it was a slant, and Desmond Smith did a pretty good job of sticking with Peening that time, and Webster couldn't fit the ball in there. So that's what went on 1st down for the Homestead defense. Now they got to suck it up and get a stop here.
Second and 10, 9:18 remaining here in the second quarter for the Shamrocks. Voorhees, oh, what a keeper, but man, Webster just got nailed by number 9, Max Schultz. But still now, 1st down after DePasquale takes it all the way to the 24.
Webster got hammered. He's a little bit shaken up. I like the idea of really attacking. It's going to be a flag on Westfield, an illegal man downfield. And that's what happens with that run-pass option. You see the offensive lineman? Good call there on the traction AP replay. That's what happens sometimes because Webster really was slow with the play action. See, he's slow right there? Ooh. And look at that. Look at that hit on Webster. Woo! Did Schultz lay the wood to Webster? That'll boy, Maxwell Schultz. But nice job, though, on the back end. So that's a big penalty for Westfield. Now they're kind of going backwards on this drive, and Homestead really needs to get off the field here.
2nd and 15 for the Rocks from the 50-yard line. Webster swing past to Voorhees, and he's got him wide open. Be pushed out right around the 32-yard line. So that's a gain of 18. Wow.
Yeah, and Homestead's got to get a linebacker out on that time. Looked like it was 24 that time for Homestead, Carter Cronwright, but he's got to get out there and get that back out of the backfield. Look at that, Jeff. See, the linebacker's slow, but that's a great pass by Webster to get that ball out in front of Voorhees.
Trips to the top of your screen, pistol alignment for Maximus Webster, and this time he keeps it himself. Wow, that's a gain of about 6 yards before he even gets touched. He got spun around in the air, though.
That's so difficult to defend because the defensive end comes down and takes the back, and at the last second, Webster, like a magician, pulls that ball out. And so watch this in the traction AP replay. Watch the defensive end crash down right there. Look at that. And Webster reads it perfectly and gets downfield.
Look at him go airborne here on 2nd and short. That ball is complete, and that's a touchdown to number 80.
Yeah, that's a great pass again by Webster. And, man, they get the tight end. Looked like it was the tight end that time.
Reed Sheepers.
Yeah, Reed Sheepers, 6'2", 190. They sneak him out of the backfield. So the traction AP replay. That's the keeper that time by Webster. Let's look at the tight end. Here it is right here. That Sheepers from the slot position sneaks in between the safeties back there. And boy, is Webster dropping dimes right on the money with the football. And that's a big touchdown for Westfield.
That time a 32-yard touchdown. PAT's up. And it's the end. The Rocks are rolling up 21 to 9. You're watching Indiana High School football here on Summit City Sports.
East has always been here, and they're getting better. I'm watching, Summit City Sports, man, they're doing an awesome job. And, that's a plug. Them dudes are doing an outstanding job. And I'm able to be in Nashville and watch games on YouTube that they're broadcasting, and I'm seeing the talent. And it is just truly outstanding. And, you guys have seen the talent that's in the NFL now from Fort Wayne, Indiana, the talent that's coming up now, and the talent that, is just here, man. It's really cool.
Killing it with the cover two.
Welcome back, everybody. 21 to 9 is your score with 8:25 left to play here in this Regional 2 championship game, 6A. And once again, Homestead looking for its first regional championship since 19 98. Westfield's looking for its first since the 2016 season, that magical Class 5A state championship run.
Yeah, they had a great run, went through Snyder that year to win the state championship, but boy, early on, how about the pinpoint accuracy by Maximus Webster? And if I'm Homestead, you got to get out of the zone on the back end, Jeff.
So once again, Keyser along with Anderson. Keyser with a nice return. Last go around of over 20 yards for Homestead. Sullivan with the kickoff. This one's going to go to number 89, Sparrow. Receives it at the 4-yard line. Gage up the middle, has a seam. He'll be taken down about the 27.
Yeah, pretty good field position for Homestead. So now important for Homestead not only to get some points here, but to move the chains and give that defense a rest, because they got to make some adjustments with that defense, because Westfield has really attacked that defense. And as far as that defense, I would get out of that zone on the back end and really play man-to-man, because Webster's just proven that he can pick the zone apart. But here on offense for Homestead, they really need to get a drive here, and Jared Kistler needs to be able to catch that ball, and that's really been the story on Kistler in high school. He makes a great play, and then he'll make a play that really costs Homestead, so he needs to pick it up here.
1st and 10 from the 28-yard line. 5 wide receiver set for the Spartans. Ormsby dumps it off to Kistler. Kistler looking to cut it upfield.
Nice.
That'll be a gain of 12 yards for the senior
beautiful
receiver.
Yeah, he is. I tell you what, 6'3", 200, all the talent in the world. And when Kistler focuses in and plays his game, he's probably one of the best receivers in this state. So Homestead needs him to be sharp. Look at that right there. Now watch the cut right there. Beautiful. So much athletic ability. 6'3", 200, going on to Indiana State. So much upside, just needs to focus in every single play.
Nate Anderson back into the game at Wildcat. The left wing is Luke Palmer in motion. Ethan Chambers on the jet sweep, fakes the handoff. Anderson keeps it himself. Be a gain of about 4 yards.
That's a good looking play, and I like the way that offensive line fires off the ball. I thought that time Anderson maybe could have broke it outside once he got to the initial hole, but pretty good job with that offensive line, and so far you're really not hearing much at all on that vaunted Westfield defensive line, so Homestead's doing a nice job with that O-line.
Back into the game is Evan Ormsby, the senior QB, on 2nd and 7 from the 43-yard line. He'll look back to his sideline for a new play, and they're going to string out the wing. Luke Palmer with 2 wide receivers up top. Ormsby looking that direction, has a man deep. That's Nate Anderson, thrown into triple coverage for an incomplete pass.
And that time, Ormsby rolls the dice. He had Kistler underneath on the short route and probably should have took it, because Anderson, looks like Westfield's keying on Anderson down the field. So here we go now, a big 3rd down, a money down for Homestead, and you really want to be able to move the chains and hold on to that football here.
3rd and 7 from the 43, 6:54 remaining here in the second quarter. Once again, spread formation. Ormsby rolling out to his right, looking downfield, has a man. Kistler, that was just a little bit too far out in front.
Yeah, that's pretty good defense out there by Westfield to push Kistler along that sideline. So that's a big stop for Westfield. That's the first time Westfield stopped Homestead tonight. So now Homestead has to punt. This is where you need Dixon to flip the field, Jeff.
It's like Ben Davis with a 27-21 lead over Carmel currently.
Wow, that's a shocker.
Bishop Chittard up 21-18, so Concordia still hanging around. Bishop Lures pulling away from Tipton 36-10. That's Carter Dixon in, takes the high snap, and that's a booming punt. That's going to land at the 18 and roll out of bounds at the 15. Wow, what
beautiful.
A punt.
And you said in the pregame, Jeff, he's such a weapon, Carter Dixon. Really, he's going to be an all-state catcher, but, man, can he punt. And he punts that ball downside the 20. So that's the way you got to flip the field. It's going to help that Homestead defense out, but you got to figure it out here. You got to get a stop on this drive, because this is 6 minutes left in the second quarter. This is danger time for Homestead. I get out of the cover, too. I tell you what. I think I got good corners. I play man-to-man. I get a couple extra guys in the box. And if he runs that play action, Maximus Webster, I blitz him and I hit him all day long.
1st and 10 from the 15 for the Shamrocks. Last time around, it was Webster hitting his tight end, Reed Sheepers, the 6'2", 190-pounder, for the 23-yard touchdown. This time over the middle of the field, and he's got his man. Wow, what a connection today with number 3. That time it was Jackson Wasserstrom.
Yeah, nice route by Wasserstrom. He's running a post that time, and again, Webster is picking that zone apart. I would get out of the zone right now if I'm Homestead, because look at that right there, Jeff. See, he finds that zone hole right there, Webster does, and he is a lot more accurate than what we saw on film.
6:20 remaining. Wasserstrom in motion. Webster's going to keep it himself, runs it right up the gut, bowling forward all the way to the 48-yard line. A huge gain of 16 on the play.
That's a great play. They run the motion away to move the backers out, and then Webster runs the quarterback ISO right back up the middle. Man, when we came down here, we said he's accounted for 34 touchdowns. He's dominating the game. Look at that cut right there. Look at the strength. You talk about 6'2", 230, running down the hill on Homestead, and man, Homestead's going to have to make some adjustments.
And he opened this game with a 1-yard touchdown run. Now just getting on the field late was number 15, Peening. He's on the bottom of your screen, the wideout. Maximus keeps it himself. This time falls forward to the Homestead 48-yard line, a gain of 4.
Yeah, now what Homestead's going to have to do, they're playing a cover 2, but with that 3-man front, they got to roll some guys up at the point of attack, because now Westfield is going to grind away with their run game. So Homestead's got to be able to adjust out of this defense and get some more guys up at the point of attack.
Matt Miller back into the game for Homestead at nose tackle here on 2nd and 6.
This is a huge series here for Homestead. You got to get a stop. You don't want to go down 3 scores to Westfield.
Bishop Dwenger now up 21-13 over Zionsville. Pistol alignment, Voorhees in the backfield. He'll fake the handoff, and it goes out wide to Sheepers, and he's knocked out of bounds, caught immediately by Max Schultz.
Nice job by Max Schultz to come down, make that tackle. You're okay with that, but Schultz plays his responsibility. He's got the back out of the backfield. Watch Schultz this time. Read and react. Look at that close right there. Beautiful Maxwell Schultz. I see you out there. Close down, makes that tackle. Now a huge 3rd down here, and Homestead desperately has got to get a stop here.
3rd and 5, 4:27 and counting in the second quarter. Handoff this time does go to Voorhees, and that read option is just killing Homestead as Voorhees takes it all the way to the 24-yard line, again at 23.
Yeah, and Homestead's right now, the defensive ends are really being blocked down inside. Watch the block by the left tackle for Westfield this time, number 66, to make the block on this. Watch him close down the end. Right there, you see? That play's over for Homestead. You're in big trouble. Homestead's got to get out of the 3-man front and got to get out of the cover 2.
1st and 10 from the 24-yard line. Voorhees, this time he's drilled by number 48, Parrish.
Yeah, nice job by Parrish that time. And that time Homestead blitzed and shot some guys in there. That's what they have to do. And they're good on the back end with Barks and Smith and Keyser. They can cover these guys in the back end, but you got to take away that run game, and you got to get your defensive ends some help by your outside backers.
Big hit from behind by the defensive end, number 48, Isaac Parrish. Parrish, a first-team All-SAC performer this year. Maximus going out wide. Nice timing pattern there as he let that ball go before Wasserstrom was even out of his cut.
And that's going to be interesting to see if he came up with that. That's a nice pass by Maximus to get that ball out there for Westfield. I'd like to see a replay of that because that was close on the far sideline. Let's take a look at that. Watch how fast Noah Webster gets the ball out. That ball's out now. Now let's see. Does he get the feet in, Jeff? That's close, boy. That's a big conversion, though, for Westfield. So, man, Homestead needs to stop here.
1st and goal from the 9-yard line for the Shamrocks. The only time they came up with 0 points was after that blocked field goal attempt. 2 wide receivers on the bottom of your screen. It's number 80 in the slot, and the handoff goes to number 1, Jack Pfeiffer, who's bottled up after a gain of about 3 yards.
Yeah, nice job. Looked like Palmer out there making that tackle. So better push up front with Homestead. So, man, they got to get a stop here. Tell you what, they really need a break, maybe a turnover or a stop here. But let's see what Westfield does. Homestead just hasn't had the answer so far.
2nd and goal from the 7. Voorhees back into the game. Once again, in the slot, number 15, Peening. And we're going to have trips on the bottom as Voorhees going to be your wide out. Middle wide receiver is number 80, Sheepers. And Maximus Webster falls forward to the 2-yard line.
Yeah, when they move the back out of the backfield and they have double tight end, they're going to run the big quarterback every single time. So that's a key that Homestead can pick up on. So now you got a huge 3rd down. Danger time for Homestead. You got to get a stop here.
As you see the big quarterback, even when he gets hit in the backfield, he's falling forward for a gain of 2 or 3. 3rd and goal from the 3-yard line. Webster going to look to the sideline with Voorhees in the backfield with him. Wide receiver in the slot. This time is number 13, Nick DePasquale. He's already got a touchdown. Webster looking for his 2nd, and he is in. Dragon tacklers, 3-yard touchdown for Maximus Webster.
And that's just a great run by Webster that time. I thought Homestead had him bottled up, and Webster just drives through it and gets in the end zone. So, wow, that was a big drive for Westfield. That was an 84-yard touchdown drive for Westfield. So, man, you talk about that offense is rolling. And Homestead's definitely going to have to put some points up tonight. But, man, oh, man, does Westfield look good.
Maximus Webster is just worth the price of admission. He's a big
he's fantastic
body and athletic. Sullivan's PAT. It's up and it's good. You're watching Indiana High School football here on Summit City Sports.
Your score, Westfield 28, Homestead 9.
There are tons of benefits to using compression therapy, but my favorite are speeding up muscle recovery, reducing swelling and inflammation, and improving my athletic performance.
Welcome back, everybody, here in Westfield, Indiana, where it's Maximus Webster, the junior quarterback, putting on a show, his 2nd rushing touchdown of the game. He's also got 2 passing touchdowns. And did you know his quarterback coach is Nick Ferrer, the NAIA Player of the Year that played for St. Francis?
There you go, man. I tell you, what a great guy to learn from. But, man, has Webster been awesome. You know, we heard so much about him, and I can't help but wonder, how did he not start the first 4 games? I mean, watching him here, but 6'2", 230, and that's the difference so far in this game. He is absolutely dominated. And when you get out there and play that cover 2, he runs all over you. So Homestead's got some big adjustments at halftime with that defense, Jeff. You got to get out of the cover 2. And you're probably going to have to play man-to-man and really blitz Webster and just have your corners back off in the second half.
So it's 28-9. Like you said, Homestead, they can certainly put up the points in a hurry, but they've got to play mistake-free football. Sullivan to kick it off. Back deep. It's like Nate Anderson along with Austin Keyser. This kick's going to be fielded at about the 13-yard line. And that's Gage Sparrow coming up to the middle of the field. Doing a good job getting around the defenders, but he'll be tracked down at the 21. So looking for a seam there, couldn't find it.
Yeah, now this becomes a huge series. This is probably the most important series of the whole season for Homestead here. You got a minute 45. You've got this passing attack. Westfield hasn't stopped the passing attack yet. You got to get down the field and get some points, Jeff. You really need to get back in this game before the halftime, and you need the momentum. And the good news is you get the ball starting the second half. So important here for Homestead to get some points.
Evan Ormsby's looked good in this game. Just the one ball that went through the hands of Kistler for the INT. 1st and 10 from the 21-yard line. Ormsby has the out pattern, the deep out to Gage Sparrow. That's going to be a gain of about 12 yards and a first down Spartans.
That's a great looking play. Sparrow runs the post corner to the short side, and Ormsby sticks it between the numbers. Ormsby has just looked great. He's had total command out there. Watch this ball come out. He waits for Sparrow to run open and sticks it right there. Homestead's passing attack has looked great. They just got hurt with that turnover, but go down the field and get a touchdown here. You get back in the game.
Isaac Barks in the game, in the bottom of your screen in the slot. Wide receiver screen goes to Sparrow. Good blocking on the outside. It's going to be a gain of about 5 yards.
And they have really done a nice job of neutralizing the strength of the Westfield defense. You know, we talk about Pariah and Williams up front. They have been totally neutralized with this Homestead game plan with the offense in the first half.
Yeah, haven't heard from Seth Martin or Popeye Williams, the two big-time defensive ends, and they are huge down there on the field. 2nd and 4 from the 40-yard line. Ormsby looking for Isaac Griffith, and that ball is going to be left short, but you know what? He lives for another play.
Yeah, he does. He got in trouble in the pocket that time. Westfield had good defense. Homestead had short routes, and Westfield just covered them up. So, boy, here's a big third down here, and Westfield's been playing a 3-man line. You might be able to run a quarterback draw here and get the first down because Westfield is dropping everybody in the back end.
Trips on the bottom of your screen here on 3rd and 4. Homestead spreading out. Got a cover 2 defense. Now they bring back another cover 3 here for Westfield. Ormsby, a QB keeper, and I thought they might try something like that as he falls forward for a first down.
Good play call, because what's happening is when Westfield gets in the 3-man front, they got 8 guys on the back end. Nobody's going to be open. There's so many guys to try to defend it. And if you look out right now, Westfield's kind of playing prevent. Exactly. Thank you. They're playing the prevent defense, so that was there. Now Homestead's got to hurry up. You got your timeouts. You got to get this ball snapped. I'd burn a timeout here if I'm Homestead. You got to get organized. You got to keep moving because you want to maximize this drive.
So timeout going to be called here by the Spartans. We'll take one with them. Watching Indiana High School football here on Summit City Sports.
There are tons of benefits to using compression therapy, but my favorite are speeding up muscle recovery, reducing swelling and inflammation, and improving my athletic performance. I choose to do whole body cryotherapy after practices, games, and training. It reduces inflammation in my muscles and allows me to move more agile throughout my profession. I became a believer in iCryo after my severe injury in college at Notre Dame, tore my ACL, and I was looking for ways to recover, ways to get back on the field. So I'm thankful for iCryo.
First and 10 after the Ormsby first down. Ball's at the 40-yard line with just 53 seconds remaining in the first half. Ormsby going to a second progression, has Sparrow, throws it behind him. They'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Westfield's playing that prevent defense. They got 3 safeties deep, so Homestead just needs to throw underneath and just hurry up. They got some timeouts and just hurry up and try to get the ball down the field. So Westfield's being really careful with the speed that Homestead has on the outside.
Joe, here's a score for you. 21-17 Marion on top of East Noble.
Wow, that's a shocker. I thought for sure East Noble with their physicality and Roman Zolman would roll Marion tonight.
And Zionsville tying it up at 21 against Bishop Dwenger. 48.6 seconds remains. Ormsby looking for Anderson on the out pattern. That's going to be pass interference called against Benji Welch.
Yeah.
Welch, who had the interception earlier today.
And I don't blame Welch on that because, man, you don't want to give Anderson anything. And if you're Welch on that, it's not that bad of a play, Jeff, with 44 seconds left in the first half. I'd rather him commit the pass interference and take that away instead of giving Anderson a big play because Anderson is so fast after he makes that catch, he can get down the field. So a break for Homestead, though, and you got to push the ball down the field. You might be able to throw maybe a fade to the corner to Kistler here if Westfield doesn't get out there fast enough, but you got to hurry if you're Homestead here, and you got to get some points on this drive.
That was an interesting looking PI. It looked like Anderson had cut right into Welch.
Yeah.
Obviously stopping his momentum, but either way, it's 1st and 10 from the Westfield 41-yard line. Once again, Homestead will get the ball to start the second half. Trips on the bottom of the screen. Ormsby looking that direction, and looks like that pass was intended for Ethan Chambers. The last couple passes have been behind the wide receivers.
Yeah, that time he just didn't have the time because Westfield blitzed the outside backer. If you look at the traction AP replay, they're blitzing the outside backer on this. This is a good move by Westfield. Why let them sit back there and have all the time in the world? So Westfield brought some heat that time. See it right there, the outside backer? They sped Ormsby up that time.
Ormsby on 2nd and 10. They put in a wide receiver screen. Good-looking play there to combat all that pressure.
Got to burn a timeout. So, man, it's not a bad play. But, boy, when that gets tackled, though, man, it makes you use a timeout. So, good defense by Westfield. Westfield switching it up now, Jeff. They played the prevent, but now they brought some pressure, and they're making some good plays. Boy, Westfield is as good as is advertised.
Joe, once again, let's take a look at that pressure like you were talking about 2 plays ago.
Watch the outside backer right there, you see? By bringing him, they speed up Ormsby. So Ormsby just can't sit back there. So they play the prevent, the cover on the back end, but they shoot the backers to speed the play up. Very well done. And it was also disguised very well by Westfield.
And then on the very next play,
Homestead tries to catch him in the wide receiver screen, but look at the safety come up right there and fight off the block. Nice recognition by the Rover out there for Westfield. So not a bad idea for Homestead to get the ball to Anderson on that wide receiver screen. But, man, Westfield's well coached, and Westfield's defense has begun to kind of settle down, Jeff. And I tell you, the drop by Kistler that led to the interception seems to really have been the big play in the first half that changed everything.
On that last play, that was the defensive end, Seth Martin, number 9, the junior, getting back there and disrupting that wide receiver screen as well. So 3rd and 10 from the 41, 32 seconds remains. Ormsby has a man, wow, that one right through the hands of Ethan Chambers. So at times the receivers not helping out their senior QB.
Chambers has got to make that catch. That's the right read. Westfield shows some pressure. Chambers from the slot position. Watch this, it's a skinny post. Right there, he's open. That ball's on his hands. You got to make that catch. In a game this big, your receivers, your senior receivers, got to make those plays.
4th and 10, 28 seconds remains. And it looks like the defensive line jumping in the neutral zone, but no flag going to be called as they get back on side. 2 wide receivers on the bottom of your screen. Ormsby goes to the left, and on the outside out pattern, that time coming up with the grab was Ethan Chambers.
That's a huge play by Chambers. That time he runs the post corner from the slot position, makes himself available, and Ormsby sticks it. That's a huge conversion for Homestead. Look at the timing on that. Beautiful route in the post corner for Chambers.
1st and 10 from the 26 as Homestead's going to hurry it up a little bit. 24 seconds on the clock. Luke Palmer on the left wing in the spread formation. Ormsby looking to his left, has a man over the middle, but he is hit. Now is nearly the second interception of the game for Benji Welch.
Yeah, Ormsby got absolutely blown up on that. And right now, those inside linebacker blitzes are bothering the Homestead offensive line. They got to identify that. Watch Ormsby on this. He didn't have a chance. See the guys coming through? He's already hit before he can step in and throw that football. And he's lucky that didn't get picked off. But that offensive line for Homestead must communicate and identify those blitzers.
Brings up 2nd and 10 with 20.2 seconds remaining. Ormsby once again flushed out of the pocket. This time coughs it up. That's picked up by number 24 for Westfield, Eric Jimenez. And wow, another turnover. That one huge. Actually, it looks like that was number 28 for the Rocks.
And I tell you what, Homestead was lucky that they were able to chase that down. Looked like Reddy Parker made the tackle, but Westfield blitzed that time. Homestead didn't pick it up. Looked like some confusion with the snap count. Basically, with the Homestead, see, nobody really moved. Maybe a screen was on, Jeff, but Westfield gets to Ormsby in a hurry, and the fumble there. And Homestead's lucky that didn't turn into a touchdown for Westfield, but wow, Westfield has totally raised their level of play, Jeff.
Bryson Hoover getting the second turnover of the game here for the Rocks.
Now, right now, if you're Homestead, be careful here. Westfield's feeling it. They'll probably throw something deep to Penning. Don't give up a touchdown here. Get in halftime, make your adjustments, but you got to be careful here not to get beat.
1st and 10 from the 45-yard line, and the play clock goes to 0. So another delay of game here for Westfield.
Yeah, they were drawing something up that time. They were going to draw up something real tricky and just took too much time. So we'll see what they do if they're going to stick with it. But if you're Homestead, you don't want to give up an easy one here.
11 seconds remains until halftime, and it looks like they're going to go into the victory formation and take this 28-9 lead into the break. So that will do it here from Westfield, Indiana, as the Shamrocks lead it 28-9 after being down 9-7. So 21 unanswered points for Westfield. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back to you with some halftime recap here on Summit City Sports.
We have to do this. A bit of a hill. His mother said, if you're coming to school, you got to bring your sister because they have to go and work in the fields. So this kid carries his 1-year-old sister everywhere. A lot of those kids don't eat in the morning. A lot of those kids, the only place they do eat is at that school.
I thought going up that mountain, Mary's meals can reach everywhere that there's a hungry child.
You see what happens after a simple meal? It just came to life.
Love reaches everywhere.
Parkview Sports Medicine's integrated sports medicine team is built to serve the needs of all athletes in all sports. Our team's only goal is to improve athletes in every facet. PSM offers performance training to help athletes get better on the field, dedicated athletic rehabilitation and physical therapy to help them get better off of it, certified athletic trainers in our PSM schools providing daily support to our athletes, and a specialized orthopedic walking clinic when injury strikes. Call 260-266-4007 to speak to our care navigators or visit ParkviewSportsMedicine.com to learn more about what we can do to improve athletes at all levels. Parkview Sports Medicine. Become more.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our cameras. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
Joint pain, sprains, strains, or a possible broken bone? Make the Parkview Ortho Express walk-in clinic your first stop when you have an orthopedic or sports injury. Parkview Ortho Express, located at the Sport One Parkview Fieldhouse, gives you access to quick care and orthopedic physicians when you need it most. Get x-rays, treatment, and referrals to Parkview Care, all in the convenience of a walk-in clinic. Call 260-266-4007 for more information.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Someday, you'll get your knee replaced. Someday, a new hip. Someday can be sooner than you think. At Parkview Ortho Hospital, we want to help you get moving again. So we offer a full range of options for joint pain, including outpatient joint replacements and personalized solutions. It's time to reclaim your life at Parkview Ortho Hospital, because someday is today. Learn more at parkview.com/ortho. Parkview, we believe in better.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcast. When the Homestead girls golf team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
Keep it 100.
This is an invitation to join a movement propelled by people who care and members who have a share in the place they bank.
Good morning, Sam.
So when you have the chance to get your first home loan, you know an expert will guide you every step of the way. Or when it's time to buy your new car, you'll be treated like more than just a credit score.
Good news, ProFed can get you that payment.
This is an invitation to a place where simply belonging can help enrich your whole community. ProFed Credit Union. You're invited.
Welcome back, everybody, here to Westfield, Indiana, where the Rocks lead it here at the break, 28-9 over Homestead. And, Joe, I'll tell you what, this junior quarterback over here at Westfield has been worth the price of admission. Maximus Webster opened up this game with a 1-yard touchdown run. He had a 17-yard touchdown pass to number 13, Nick De Pasquale, then a 23-yard touchdown pass, number 80, Reed Sheepers, and then the 3-yard touchdown plunge where Westfield has rattled off 21 unanswered points.
Yeah, they've had no answer for Webster in the first half, but I tell you what my adjustment would be. I would get out of the cover 2, because what's happening with the cover 2 is Webster's so good with that play action fake, Jeff, and it opens up the middle of the field, and he's just too accurate, and he's just picking Homestead apart in the middle of that field. That's what led to the touchdown with Ships in the second quarter. So if I'm Homestead, I get out of the cover 2, I play man-to-man with my corners, I give a little bit of room to Penning, and I put 8 guys up the point of scrimmage, and I blitz Webster, and I attack him every single play. You got to get to him in the backfield because he's so big and strong. But I would say, man, Webster is really a run-pass dominant quarterback, so you got to take that away if you're Homestead.
You know, Webster with that read option game of his, Voorhees has been running wild for the Westfield Shamrocks. And like you said, the three-man front, at times the defensive ends are getting swallowed in and giving Voorhees all kinds of room to run.
Which is surprising because we haven't seen Micah Hauser tonight, who must have had an injury. But boy, as Voorhees is really filled in efficiently for Westfield. So, yeah, I agree. That three-man front, you got to come out here in the second half, my friend. You got to play 7-8 guys the point of attack, and you have to attack with your defense. You can't sit back in that zone. I just don't like that zone against a quarterback who can run that run-pass option and is so accurate to the middle of the field, because when I played quarterback, Jeff, the easiest passes to me were the ones in the middle of the field. So what you got to do is get out of the zone, play man-to-man on the outside, and attack him in the pocket with 7-8 guys and try to get a couple of stops. And I think Homestead can score some points because they've had some success on offense. So if Homestead can really crank the offense up, now you get the ball in the second half, so that first drive is going to be key. But Homestead's got to get some points, and they can't sit back with that defense. They got to go attack with that defense.
Joe, check this out. Voorhees entering today, just 4 carries for 8 yards, and look what he's doing in this game for the Rocks.
Yeah, you talk about somebody stepping up, and, man, if you would have told me that Westfield wouldn't have had Micah Hauser tonight, I would have really liked Homestead's chances. So, but how about Voorhees stepping up? But I tell you, my focus is on Webster right now. Your issue right now for Homestead is stopping that quarterback because he's just dominating this game. So speed him up, bring the blitz, play man-to-man on the back end, and attack at the point of attack.
Wow, Marion now up 28-17 over East Noble.
That's a shocker for me because East Noble has been so physical, and I thought they were one of the hottest teams in the second half, Jeff.
Yeah, and big congratulations to Bishop Lures beating Tipton 36-17. And we got a real fight close by here in Zionsville where Bishop Dwenger is tied at 21. Zionsville is lining up here for the go-ahead field goal attempt. So that's an interesting one that you can watch live here on Summit City Sports.
Yeah, great games all across the platform. And, hey, hats off to Bishop Lures. They probably have really been one of the hottest teams with the offenses in the area. I'm stunned East Noble's losing to Marion. I thought East Noble would handle Marion. Concordia's hanging in there against Chittard. Dwanger's in a dogfight. And right now, Homestead's got a lot of adjustments to make, but also around the state, I'm stunned Carmel lost to Ben Davis. About 3 weeks ago, Ben Davis was just stuck in the mud. I'm shocked that Carmel lost that game because I was really thinking Carmel would match back up with Center Grove, Jeff.
Yeah, Carmel beat Ben Davis 31-9 the first time around, so it's amazing what the postseason brings with injuries and having to make adjustments like what we're seeing here with Voorhees in the backfield for the Rocks. You know, on the other side of the ball for Homestead, their offense, we haven't seen a whole lot of running, not from Sudarth or from Braden Hardwick. We have seen Nate Anderson effective in the Wildcat, and really it seems like Homestead, for the most part, has kind of been hurting themselves on the offensive side, whether it was the pass that went through the hands that led to the interception, and also we've seen some inaccurate passing at times, passes thrown behind the wide receivers.
Because really what happened when the game started, Westfield had no answer for Homestead. Homestead gets the big touchdown pass from Nate Anderson out of the Wildcat to Kistler, and all of a sudden it's 9-7. Westfield immediately responds and gets a touchdown. So it's 14-9. It's back and forth like a heavyweight fight. And that pass to Kistler that went through his hands, that was a huge turnover. And after that, it just seemed like Westfield took control. But if you notice what Westfield has done in the second quarter, they started to blitz Ormsby. They wanted to speed them up, showing some different blitzes. And that's where all of a sudden you saw some of the inaccurate passing. And that really is what hurt Homestead. So Homestead has to recognize if Westfield blitzes, who has the hot on that. And when I say hot, the receiver has to recognize that and get to the open space. So I like what Homestead did in offense, but they're going to have to really throw the ball here, try to get back in this game. But Westfield's very well coached.
Yeah, and a really good-looking quarterback.
Oh, my gosh, absolutely.
And now it looks like Zionsville is going to head out for this go-ahead field goal. South Adams on top of Southwood, big. No real surprise there. South Adams with a great quarterback over there, one of the best in the state. And looks like Concordia did eventually lose to Bishop Chittard.
But they played them tough there for a while, and last year Chittard was the 3A state champion, and their toughest game on the road to the state championship was Concordia last year in the regional. But, man, I tell you what, it's really interesting to see some of these scores come in.
It's like Zionsville's going to win this game, so that's a game-winning field goal there.
Is it really? That the game?
For the Eagles.
That's a shame, because I really thought Dwenger would win that game. Man, oh, man, that's Dwenger, that opening drive, Jeff, just that fumble really hurt them. And, man, Zionsville got the offense going in the second half, and I'm stunned by that one, my friend.
So it doesn't look like that's a final, but, boy, they're dancing around like it sure is. Absolutely. Well, we'll take one more break here, and we'll have the second half for you. Homestead going to receive it here to start the second half. So you're watching Indiana High School football here on Summit City Sports.
We have to do this. A bit of a hill. His mother said, if you're coming to school, you got to bring your sister because they have to go and work in the fields. So this kid carries his 1-year-old sister everywhere. A lot of those kids don't eat in the morning. A lot of those kids, the only place they do eat is at that school.
I thought going up that mountain, Mary's meals can reach everywhere that there's a hungry child.
You see what happens after a simple meal? It just came to life.
Love reaches everywhere.
Parkview Sports Medicine's integrated sports medicine team is built to serve the needs of all athletes in all sports. Our team's only goal is to improve athletes in every facet. PSM offers performance training to help athletes get better on the field, dedicated athletic rehabilitation and physical therapy to help them get better off of it, certified athletic trainers in our PSM schools providing daily support to our athletes, and a specialized orthopedic walking clinic when injury strikes. Call 260-266-4007 to speak to our care navigators or visit ParkviewSportsMedicine.com to learn more about what we can do to improve athletes at all levels. Parkview Sports Medicine. Become more.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our cameras. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
Joint pain, sprains, strains, or a possible broken bone? Make the Parkview Ortho Express walk-in clinic your first stop when you have an orthopedic or sports injury. Parkview Ortho Express, located at the Sport One Parkview Fieldhouse, gives you access to quick care and orthopedic physicians when you need it most. Get x-rays, treatment, and referrals to Parkview Care, all in the convenience of a walk-in clinic. Call 260-266-4007 for more information.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Someday, you'll get your knee replaced. Someday, a new hip. Someday can be sooner than you think. At Parkview Ortho Hospital, we want to help you get moving again. So we offer a full range of options for joint pain, including outpatient joint replacements and personalized solutions. It's time to reclaim your life at Parkview Ortho Hospital, because someday is today. Learn more at parkview.com/ortho. Parkview, we believe in better.
Thank you for watching.
30-21 final.
Welcome back, everybody. Once again, today's broadcast is brought to you by Summit City Sports. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. iChiro specializes in whole body chirotherapy, body sculpting, chirofacials, infrared sauna, and compression therapy services. Check out Jalen Smith's signature location on Coliseum Boulevard by Blaze Pizza. Kelly Automotive Group is Indiana's #1 automotive group with over 1,000 new vehicles and 500 pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Please visit drivekelly.com. Simple, transparent, reliable. Tom Steele Tire has been servicing the Fort Wayne area for over 40 years. They will help you find the perfect tire for your vehicle and other auto repair services like brakes, wheel alignments, and engine diagnostics, and more at Tom Steele Tire. Big Eye Fish has been around the Northeast Indiana area for generations. Like their Facebook pages for updated promotions. Enjoy the best fish in Fort Wayne in a family-friendly environment at Big Eye Fish. You're invited to join ProFed Credit Union, where we get to know you, better serve you. Sign up online in 5 minutes or stop by a branch. Join ProFed today and start owning your financial future at profedcu.org. Ottenweller Contracting, we invest in our customers by providing peace of mind during the entire process from bid to build. Visit OttenwellerContracting.com. That's OttenwellerContracting.com. Summit Volleyball trains and builds the highest quality volleyball players in the area from ages 5 to 18. Our players are equipped with elite level skills and a foundation of life skills. Jump on board. Together we can reach the summit. Anderson Heating and Air Conditioning is dedicated to providing the best possible solution for your home or business, a system and solution that fits your unique needs. Visit AndersonCoolHeat.com. Ellis Teca Mexican Restaurant has been a Fort Wayne favorite since 1973. Ellis Teca. Oh, you hear that? Elkhart over Maryville, 17-14.
Wow.
Ellis Teca Mexican Restaurant has been Fort Wayne favorite since 1973. Ellis Teca Mexican recipes are sure to tantalize your taste buds. Visit EllisTecaRestaurant.com.
A very quick update.
I'm not surprised because Maryville, I tell you, Chatard really laid the wood to Maryville. And I tell you, Elkhart has played good football. So, man, that's a big win for Elkhart. And I tell you, combining those two schools, Jeff, has meant the world for Elkhart.
Absolutely, it has. Always good players coming out there. Those two schools pretty close by. And, I remember years ago they were talking about adding another high school over there to the Carroll area.
Yeah, and I tell you what, if Westfield holds on here, they'll be up at Elkhart. If Homestead comes back and, one of the greatest comebacks we've ever seen tonight, they would host Elkhart in the semi-state game. So now here with Homestead, not all is lost, okay? It's 28-9. You got the football. You got to go down with your offense. You got to score on this first drive. You score on this first drive, you got it down to 2 scores. You got to get out of the cover 2 on your defense, and you have to attack with your backers. And maybe you get a couple of stops, Jeff Mahoney. You got an offense that can score fast and a ton of points, but you got to fix your defense. So Homestead's not out of this game yet, but this first drive in the second half is huge.
Joe, how does getting out of the cover 2 help us against Maximus Webster, the great quarterback, and Voorhees, the running back, so they can keep them contained and they don't get out wide, especially Voorhees breaking off those big runs?
Yeah, because when you play the 3-man front and the cover 2, you're not getting any pressure or attacking Webster. So Webster can give you the play action. He can freeze the linebackers, and the linebackers have to take a couple steps forward to really respect Webster, and it opens up those huge gaping holes in the middle of the field, and he can just pick that apart. And you've got a cover 2, so your 2 safeties are too deep. So you get out of the cover 2, you play man-to-man, you put 7-8 guys to the point of attack, and you hit them every play, and you shoot Palmer and Etchison and these guys in the backfield and take that away. So you got to take away the run-pass option, because right now nobody's getting to Webster, and he has all day long to put that ball in the back's belly, then to pull it out and kill you with the play action. You got to roll the dice. You're good on the outside with your corners, Keyser and Smith. You got to roll the dice.
Homestead's got a young defensive lineman by the name of Jackson Chrisman. He's a sophomore, 6'2", 240, 11 tackles, 4 tackles for a loss, 2 sacks, a fumble recovery, a block punt. Is there a situation where they can bring him in and have a 4-man front?
Yes, that's what they should do. They should put him in the game and roll into a 4-4 and have 8 guys at the point of attack and attack Webster. It's what you absolutely have to do. You can't play a cover 2 because Webster's too good and he's too accurate, and the holes in the middle of the field are just too big to throw into.
So if you're going to have a single safety deep, that's going to be Isaac Barks for Homestead. Well, we kick off the third quarter, and Homestead's going to receive it. That's Gage Sparrow from the 11-yard line, has Kistler out in front, looking to reverse, and he'll bring it down to about the 24. So not a bad return here for Sparrow and Homestead to start the second half.
No, a good start for Homestead. Now, if I'm Homestead, I speed up on offense too. I think Homestead plays better when they hurry up. So that's what I do if I'm Homestead. Also, I'm cognizant of the clock, so I want to move along with my offense, but I come out and I attack.
We got the video board here. They just showed a scene from Braveheart talking about some defense. I saw Braveheart last night. It's a good movie, Joe.
Yeah, that's a great one, a classic.
Evan Ormsby in on 1st and 10 from the 24-yard line. The handoff goes to Braden Hardwick. He's going to be stuffed by number 2, Popeye Williams.
Yeah, one of the best defensive ends in the state. 6'3", 225, only a junior. Has offers from my Bearcats, Wisconsin, and Penn State. And right now it looks like Wisconsin has the inside track on Popeye Williams, but he's an all-state player.
Yeah, I was seeing where Purdue is a 54% chance as a favorite. Out pattern goes to Jared Kistler. Good blocking by Sparrow out in front. Kistler, that'll be a gain of about 8 yards.
That's a good-looking play, and I like because Ormsby gets that ball out so fast. So that time, Kistler makes himself available and gets upfield. So check this out in the Traction AP replay. Ball's out quick. Look at Kistler. Nice job of getting upfield. So you need to get this first down here if you're a Homestead.
Kistler's a big receiver. Joey's got a big neck. That is a strong young man out there. So out of the Wildcat, Nate Anderson following his blockers. Actually, he decided to cut it up there. He had Braden Hardwick on the outside lead block, and that's going to be about a loss. No, 0 gain.
You got to go for it here. This is your first gamble of the night. It's going to be 4th. I don't punt here. It's 4th and 1. That's the opening drive. I roll the dice there. I think you got to go for it there. That time Westfield does a nice job setting the edge with Popeye Williams and taking away that Wildcat that time, but I would have gambled there, Jeff.
I know you haven't stopped Westfield's offense all game.
That's the problem.
They're on the 33-yard line. Carter Dixon, the punt, and that's going to be it. Oh, they're saying that was partially tipped as they ran into Carter Dixon.
Boy, he's wanting the flag.
Boy, that didn't look like it was tipped, Joe.
That didn't look like it was tipped because the ball didn't change its trajectory. Let's take a look at that again. And I didn't hear that ball. We're sitting right down close to the field. I didn't hear it.
Carter Dixon was pretty adamant about it. As you saw him get spun around there was definitely contact with the Homestead punter.
That looked like that was a flat. Oh, that's a penalty. You're into the kicker. That should have been running into the kicker. That should have been 5 yards and a first down for Homestead. So that's a big break for Westfield. Now let's see what Homestead does with their defense here.
And, Joe, that ball fielded at the 31-yard line. That's a 50-yard punt there, so I doubt that it was tipped,
Exactly.
1st and 10 from the 32 for Westfield. They're going to fake the handoff, pop pass, and a big hit, but that's complete to number 13, De Pasquale.
Yeah, De Pasquale has really played well. Again, that's the open middle on the cover, too. When he runs the play action, see the play action? He'll put the ball in the belly, and watch this in the Traction AP replay. Watch this right here. The play action freezes the backer. See it? There's your hole. You got to get out of that.
Well, I'll tell you what, Webster does not mess around when he makes a decision. He is strong with it. That time, Voorhees carves it up for a gain of about 6-7 yards.
And that's good defense. Palmer comes down and makes the tackle. That was a pretty good push at the point of attack, but really for Homestead, you got to get more guys at the point of attack right now, Jeff Mahoney.
So it's going to bring up 2nd and 2 from the 49-yard line. And absolutely, this Homestead team needs some kind of life into the game. Now is number 4, Desmond Smith. Actually, he's going to switch positions with the other cornerback, Austin Keyser. So it's Smith on the bottom of your screen, and he's over there on number 15, the top wide receiver for Westfield. Handoff goes to Voorhees, and once again, Voorhees getting the outside, getting pinned in there was number 3 for Homestead, and that is Cole Etchison.
And that's a great play by Keyser out there. Keyser gets off the block and gets Voorhees' legs to drop him that time. And that's a great play by the corner out there. Watch Keyser on this. Yeah, it's going to be a hold. Should be a hold. Watch Keyser on this. Keyser is such an up-and-coming prospect. Watch Keyser right there. Look at that. That's a hold on Keyser, and he still gets out there and swipes the leg to make the tackle. I love Austin Keyser. I tell you what, 5'10", 180 pounds, an up-and-coming prospect, Jeff.
Once again, you hate to see the Homestead defenders losing contain on these plays and letting Westfield get to the outside.
The Westfield tackles, the right tackle and left tackle for Westfield, have really dominated the defensive ends and done a nice job against Homestead.
So Peening now goes to the top of your screen. Desmond Smith stays with him in press coverage for Homestead. Here on 2nd and 8. Webster going to tuck it down, and he's going to be stuffed. I believe that was Miller, the nose tackle, for a loss of 2.
Yeah, good coverage on the back end for Homestead, and Miller makes the play. So better defense that time with Homestead making that play.
So that's going to bring up a 3rd down here and about 8 yards for the Rocks.
Big play for Homestead. Got to get a stop and got to get off the field here for Homestead. And if I'm Smith up top on Peening, I would back up a little bit and give him some room.
6 in the box for the Homestead defense coming off the edge with the blitz. That was number 3 for the Spartans. Oh, Maximus Webster goes the opposite direction with the counter, and he'll be pushed out about the 31-yard line. Wow, with that quarterback, and he had nothing but open space to run.
And that's contained. The backside defensive end has to keep the discipline when he chases the quarterback. And boy, does Webster recognize that and cuts upfield. Watch Webster on this. Watch the backside defensive end chase. You see, he runs himself out of the play. Look at Webster make that cut. Beautiful. But I tell you what, I'm just a little bit confused why they would stay in the cover 2 right now.
1st and 10 from the 31. Handoff goes to Voorhees, and he'll fall forward. That's a gain of about 5 yards for number 34.
Boy, how about Voorhees filling in for Hauser as he looked good tonight. And, man, Westfield's just rolling along. It makes you wonder about Cathedral, doesn't it, the way Cathedral beat Westfield down, because Westfield looks fantastic here, Jeff.
Well, it's like you said, that was the first game of the year. They didn't have Maximus Webster at quarterback.
Yeah, they found themselves.
A little bit of a difference maker, don't you think?
Absolutely.
And pressure, we got the screen pass. Looks like that was just a little bit high, intended for number 30, which is Ryan Krieger.
Yeah, and that was a great play by Isaac Parrish out there, number 48, 6'1", 225, Jeff. 45 tackles, 9 tackles for a loss, and 5.5 sacks. And what a huge season Isaac has had this year.
Krieger's a sophomore, 6 carries, 44 yards entering today. 3rd and 6 from the 27-yard line. Webster has a man on the wheel route, and that's Voorhees, and that's caught. He's out at the 8-yard line. We got a flag on the play.
Oh, we'll see. That's going to be close. Homestead that time finally blitzed. They blitzed Atkinson that time for Homestead, and I tell you, we'll see what that is. That going to be pass interference down
Could
there?
Be helmet to helmet.
Excuse me, Etchinson. They blitzed Cole Etchinson that time and got to the quarterback. And, man, he barely got that one off, but we'll see what that call is. It's definitely going to be a penalty on Homestead. Take a look at that if we could again.
Yeah.
See what happened on that. Etchinson blitzes that time, Jeff, to get to the quarterback. See that Etchinson coming? Just a little bit late. The ball's out. Barely gets out. Let's see who the call is on.
That was Schultz, but that's a clean play.
That's
as far
a clean
as the hit.
play right there.
Yeah, they're calling helmet to helmet.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is absolutely ridiculous because
check it out one more time, and you can see if in real time it kind of looked like it, but in the replay, not really on number 9.
That's ridiculous.
You see how the head goes down?
Yeah, he's got his head down. He's leading with the shoulder, but he's got no idea where that wide receiver is going to land. I mean,
now the wide receiver gets turned around. That's
exactly.
Voorhees.
Yeah, and he's going down. So Voorhees loses his footing. He's going down on the turn.
But yeah,
that's a terrible call.
But they're going to go with the helmet to helmet there, and that's going to bring up 1st and 10 from the 13-yard line for the Shamrocks.
Boy, big break for Westfield, and I tell you, they just continue to take advantage of this defense, and I just don't know why you don't adjust.
Spread field formation and a pop pass, and that's a touchdown.
You got
13-yard score to number 80, his second of the game, Reed Sheepers.
I just don't understand why you don't adjust your defense to get out of the cover two. That's all day long. That's easy. I'm just baffled by that, Jeff.
So Reed Sheppers gets his second touchdown, and
boy, Maximus, man, oh man, Maximus Webster is making them pay. And you're right, Jeff. You know, this team has really evolved for Westfield, and what a different team with Maximus Webster behind the controls.
That kick is up, and it's good. You're watching Indiana High School football here on Summit City Sports.
About the place that it put us, and the quarantine hit, and we knew we had guys that were going to work hard at home, but just the idea that we could get a lot of them together working hard at a location where people know what they're doing was really beneficial. And I think, you know, that training did a great job for those guys to kind of get the ball rolling for them, and they came back in the end of June, early July, and it's like they hadn't missed a beat. They were flexible, they were fast, and ready to lift and run and start playing football, so it was a huge benefit for us.
To gain an edge on your competition, it starts with a free one-on-one performance assessment. Call 260-266-4007. Parkview Sports Medicine. Become more.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We believe in sharing positive stories and are excited to set the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
Basketball is such a reactionary sport, and we talk all the time about your first 3 steps are the most important: powering out, exploding, the things that they're teaching our kids with changing direction quicker, getting a stronger core. Those things have been very valuable for our athletes. Everything that Parkview Sports Medicine has done has been very applicable to what we do on the court. We're learning how to control our bodies, and that's something that I think our girls have really benefited from. Some of our girls who had some speed and quickness now are becoming more explosive.
To gain an edge on your competition, it starts with a free one-on-one performance assessment. Call 260-266-4007. Parkview Sports Medicine. Become more.
Welcome back, everybody. Westfield now up 35-9 over the Homestead Spartans. A big call on that personal foul, the helmet to helmet. Kind of reminds you of that Leo Northridge game in the fourth quarter when they made that big call. That kept the drive going there for Westfield, and they capitalized. Gage Sparrow this time from the 7-yard line. Once again, coming out to the left-hand side. We got a flag on the play as Sparrow takes it to the 26.
Yeah, you're going to have an illegal block on the Homestead, so that's coming back. Now you're down 35-9. You've got a quick strike offense, but you got to hurry up. You got to go. You really got to pick up the pace now if you're Homestead.
And now you're kind of looking for one of those big plays to Nate Anderson, which we haven't seen yet today.
Absolutely. So Westfield's going to probably make you throw it short and have a short and controlled passing attack, but just take what they can get you, move the chains, and try to work your way back in downfield for a touchdown. But Westfield's done a nice job of also, you know, showing the blitzes and mixing it up, Jeff. Westfield's well coached. Coach Gilbert's done a great job. You know, Westfield won that 2016 5A state championship, the big win over Snyder in the semi-state. Then they got reclassed up to 6A, and it just kind of feels like Coach Gilbert is really building a powerhouse here that now can compete at the 6A level.
Biggest play of the game so far for Homestead was the 62-yard touchdown reception for Jared Kistler. It was Nate Anderson throwing it to him out of the Wildcat as he rolled out to the right. Evan Ormsby back into the game on 1st and 10 from the 10-yard line. The big QB finds his man. That's Ethan Chambers on the out pattern.
Boy, Ormsby is accurate and does a nice job on that pass to get that ball to Chambers. So that's a great look that time for Ormsby to get that ball out to Chambers. Good-looking first down play.
So Homestead thinking they were going to speed it up here for a second It's going to be 6:58 remaining here in the third quarter. This is their second series in the frame. Of the frame, Chambers and trips on the bottom of your screen. That's Jared Kistler out wide. Out of the shotgun, in motion. They're going to fake the handoff to Barks. That pass once again behind Gage Sparrow.
Yeah, and that time Ormsby's got to get that ball out faster, but he's got to get that ball out in front of Sparrow because that play is open. That's that play action play that Westfield's really been running, and the middle of the field is open that time for Homestead. So Ormsby's got to throw a better ball on that because Sparrow is open.
So 5 wide receivers set. Trips on the bottom of your screen, 2nd and 10 from the 24, 6:55 remaining. Evan Ormsby on the QB keeper, and he'll pick up about a 4 to 5 yards.
Yeah, and that's good on 2nd down. So now you're 3rd down and makeable. So maybe you can throw a quick pass here and try to get that 1st down. So good read and reaction that time by Ormsby.
Here on 3rd and 5 from the 29.
Got man-to-man up top on Anderson. Might be able to take advantage of that.
Late coming into the game, that was Kyle Byers for Westfield. As Ormsby downfield, that one nearly picked off with the defense was number 25 for the Shamrocks, Kyle Poppy.
I wouldn't punt here either, my friend. I tell you what, because you haven't been able to stop this offense. You know, I'd rather have my offense on the field trying to get 5 yards, but another good defensive stand for Westfield.
Carter Dixon back in to punt it. Last time out there, drew a little bit of contact.
Yeah, it should have been a flag, that last one. And that would have been a huge call for Homestead.
And it's off. And refielding it was number 26 for Westfield. Great coverage downfield.
That's Keyser.
That was Alex Wolf for the Rocks.
And that was number 12 out there, Austin Keyser on the coverage, Jeff. I tell you, Keyser, if they picked first team all-conference for special teams, Keyser would have been on there. Keyser storms down there and makes that play, and, boy, he's having a good game tonight.
5'8", 150-pound junior Keyser. Entering today, 52 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, a sack, a forced fumble, and a blocked field goal.
Yeah, already can run a 4.6 in the 40. Probably be a 4.5 kid next year. It's going to end up probably being about 5'11", 190 pounds. His daddy was quite the player over at Elmhurst, so tell you what, lots of talent there for Keyser.
4 wide receivers on the bottom of your screen. That pass just behind the tight end. He's got 2 touchdowns, Reed Shepers.
Yeah, and that time, that just wasn't a very good ball. That's the first ball that Webster's thrown tonight that really wasn't very good. He had him, he had him on the middle of the field, and that one he just threw behind him. So that time we see that Webster is a little bit mortal on that pass, Jeff.
It's going to bring up 2nd and 10 from the 36. That's what we were talking about a little bit with Ormsby in the first half. A couple of those balls just a little bit behind the wide receiver.
Yeah, when you throw against that cover 2 in the middle of the field, that ball has to be out in front of that wide receiver.
Handoff, and no keeping it is going to be Maximus Webster over to the 40-yard line, so gain of 4 on the play.
Yeah, good defense that time for Homestead to get him stopped that time. So there you go. There's Jackson for you, getting in the game, making a play there for Homestead. So pretty good defense. See what Westfield's just, if they're content just to run the ball here or if they're going to keep attacking.
And Jackson Crispin in at the right defensive end position, one that's usually manned by Andrew Bear. 3rd and 6 from the 40-yard line, 5:30 remaining. Webster rolling out of the pocket. He's going to be chased down, and that was Luke Palmer with the coverage, nearly caught up to him. And that pass is going to be complete down to the 47-yard line.
And that's a great job by Webster to buy time. There's nothing the Homestead secondary can do on that, Jeff, because they were covered. Keyser had the coverage outside that time, had him blanketed, but when Webster breaks the pocket, the Westfield wide receiver comes back to make that play, and that's just giving Webster too much time. And again, that's a play solely made by Maximus Webster.
Webster needed to get that ball to the 46 and get to the 48. His field awareness, how many first down conversions have they had where they just get it just past the pylon. Now downfield, and that ball is going to be dropped.
And that's pretty good coverage. That time, Westfield had the stop and go and wanted to go deep on Keyser, and Westfield got the step initially on Keyser, but watch Keyser recover. That's good defense out there again by Austin Keyser.
Cole Etchison also back deep there for the Spartans.
And isn't that interesting? Westfield on first down goes up top there, so they really want to put a dagger in Homestead here.
Voorhees just offset right in the backfield there with Maximus Webster, that's number 1. Pfeiffer, Jack Pfeiffer, the senior for the Rocks. Pfeiffer goes out in the flats, lead blocking. Out pattern is complete. That'll be a gain of about 5 yards, keeping the clock running.
Yeah, and you're okay with that if you're Homestead. That's pretty good defense. Keyser doesn't want to let him get by him, so he'll give up a 4-yard pass on that. So now you're third down here. That's good defense for Homestead. Now you're third down here, and you got to get a stop here.
3rd and 3. 4:47 remains here in the third quarter.
I would blitz if I'm Homestead here. I would send the house at Webster here. I hate the 3-man front.
3 down linemen for the Spartans, and it's Etchison coming in off the edge downfield. They've got their man, and wow, pass interference is going to be called on Desmond Smith.
And again, it's just too much time for Webster in the pocket. Smith has pretty good coverage and just puts his hands on at the end, and that ball's underthrown. Smith's got to turn around, find that football. A little time for Webster, though. You got to bring some heat, and Smith just kind of ran it down and just didn't get turned around. And that's a situation where Smith has just got to turn around, find the ball, and you won't get that call, Jeff.
I'll tell you what, it seems like he did a good job running stride for stride with pinning. Just got his hands in there a little bit too quick.
Yeah.
About a second later, I think he still dislodges that ball and does not get called with the PI.
Pretty good coverage. If he just gets his head around, you're right, he's going to get that call. But, boy, Westfield continues to attack this Homestead defense.
Trips on the bottom of your screen. Play action that's complete. And that was thrown into triple coverage. Complete to DePasquale.
Yeah, looks like Keyser came up and made the tackle. But again, on that cover 2, when you run that play action fake, the linebackers have to respect the back, and it creates the hole. And boy, can Maximus Webster stick that ball in there.
Maximus Webster, his decision-making has been on par tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's finding the wide-open guys.
And this is beginning to feel like the longest third quarter ever because Westfield is just dominating.
Tied in the game to the right. They do that snap there where Maximus, it's like he's not paying attention.
Yeah.
Making the stop there was Isaac Parrish, number 48 for Homestead. But check this out, Joe, on the Traction AP replay. He'll be looking at the sideline. The ball snaps as he turns his head back to the line of scrimmage. Check this one out. It's wild. You see him here. He's going to look for the audible, and man, right when he turns his head back over, it's snapped. I mean, it's almost a bang-bang thing.
It sure is, and he sells it, and it almost gives that back, an extra step because Homestead's still watching the quarterback to see what he's going to call next.
So going to the right tight end is Shepers. And Maximus going to pull it out. Shepers, that's his 3rd touchdown of the game. This one for 16 yards. Westfield is rolling.
There's nothing that you can do against that play when you're in the cover 2. You must get out of the cover 2. It's the play action pass again by Maximus Webster, and it's open all day long because when you run the play action fake, the linebackers have to step up. It creates room. Watch this right here. Look at the backers. They have to respect the back. Look at that. You cannot defend that in cover 2.
Sullivan looking for his 7th PAT. And he hits it. You're watching Indiana High School football here on Summit City Sports.
3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Your score, Westfield 4.
There are tons of benefits to using compression therapy, but my favorite are speeding up muscle recovery, reducing swelling and inflammation, and improving my athletic performance. I choose to do whole body cryotherapy after practices, games, and training. It reduces inflammation in my muscles and allows me to move more agile throughout my profession. I became a believer in iCryo after my severe injury in college at Notre Dame, tore my ACL, and I was looking for ways to recover, ways to get back on the field. So I'm thankful for iCryo.
Welcome back, everybody. The Shamrocks getting their third touchdown of the game by Reed Sheppers. This last one on a 16-yard pass by Maximus Webster, the junior quarterback. Webster has been a lot of fun to watch at 6'2", 225 pounds. Joe, he's a load, and he makes great decisions out there.
He does. The run-pass options there, and he's just been tearing up that cover 2 defense.
This ball fielded at the 10-yard line by Gage Sparrow. Trying to cut it out wide. It'll be pushed out at the 26.
Now let's see what Homestead can do. Obviously, it's a big hole. Let's see if Homestead can crank up their offense here. It's got to be the longest third quarter ever, my friend, watching this. But Homestead needs to get some tempo and needs to get this offense cranked up. I'd go with the no huddle and move the ball down the field.
We need to crank up these foot warmers out here outside the press box.
I've been losing my voice. My wife is texting me saying, "What is wrong with your voice?" So I'm trying, baby. It's tough work conditions tonight, right?
Somebody get Joe some Vicks or some Ricolas or something.
Tell you, man, it's cold out here tonight, baby.
1st and 10 from the 22-yard line. Homestead needs to get on the board here in this drive. Braden Hardwick. For Hardwick, that's probably about his third carry of the game, about a 4-yard gain. I'll tell you what, it's not that he doesn't still have that burst. It's just Homestead's kind of been playing from behind all game.
They had to throw the ball. And I want to say, I'm so proud of Hardwick getting that scholarship from Ball State to come back from that ACL. That is one of the toughest kids to play high school football. I see you, Braden Hardwick. And you know what? Ball State got themselves a good one.
Well, I'll tell you what, I saw Hardwick back in late June at the Traction AP Exposure Camp. I couldn't believe how explosive he was.
His legs are huge.
2nd and 6 from the 22-yard line. Play action, complete to Ethan Chambers. I'm telling you what, these DBs for Westfield are all over it.
Yeah, and again, that's a nice pass play. And really, Homestead has moved the ball at times tonight, throwing it. So I like what Ormsby's doing, but Westfield closed down on that play and makes a nice tackle. Watch the play. Look at that close out right there. Good defense for Westfield.
2 minutes and counting here in the third quarter. Ormsby looks back over to the sideline. Braden Hardwick stays in the game for the Spartans. They say as hard as Hardwick practices and plays, he rehabbed just as hard. Ormsby, another nice grab by Nate Anderson, takes that ball all the way to the 46-yard line of Westfield.
Boy, I like Nate Anderson. What a season he has had for Nate Anderson. That's a great catch that time for Anderson on that rope. That's a tough ball to catch from Ormsby.
We're going to have to get out of this one here on 1st and 10 from the 48-yard line. Big Ormsby wearing that number 13. Dan Marino made that number famous. He was the first kind of pure passer, there in the NFL. Ball out, and that's going to be picked off, intended for Kistler.
Yeah, and that time Westfield jumps the route, and Ormsby stares it down. And what a play by the Westfield defender out there. Looked like maybe number 3 out there, Jeff. I'm trying to...
Benji Welch.
Yeah, Welch. Watch Welch sit on this. And that's why at some point you kind of got to throw the ball down the field. Look at Welch. Great reaction. Great play to sit on that. And another big turnover for Westfield. And, man, does Westfield look good. And I'm sorry. I think Elkhart's in trouble next week, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
For Benji Welch, that's his second INT of the game.
Yeah. Got that first one off the carom, and that one he just sits on the route. And here comes Homestead again in that cover, too. And I don't know what else to say, my man.
0 INTs during the regular season, but got 2 in this game. This is a regional championship game. Looks like Westfield's on their way to get their first regional championship since 2016.
Yeah, I tell you what, though, what a season, though, for Homestead. I mean, to start the season and not to even know who's going to play the quarterback. I mean, they were still having a quarterback competition the week before the Northrop game, and then to lose 6 defenders in that game, and to lose that game, and how about, to battle back and to have the kind of season they have had says a lot about the players and the coaches.
Oh, they beat Concordia 7-0. I mean, they squeaked past Concordia without Concordia's starting quarterback.
Yeah.
And then what Ormsby did, I'm sorry, he may have been second team all-conference, but he was the MVP in the SAC this year.
He was, absolutely. He should get the Ewell Wilson Trophy. He had, and you ever seen a kid turn it around?
He should get the Ewell Wilson
Trophy. He should get the Ewell Wilson Trophy. And boy, it's great to see that trophy named after Ewell. But have you ever seen a kid turning around like Ormsby and really looking through this defense, Jeff? How about Ryan Burton, 6'3", 215, 61 tackles, 8.5 tackles for a loss and 2 INTs. If I'm a MAC school, I would be all over him because Burton can play special teams. He can play safety. He can play linebacker. He even ran the ball last year. If I'm Toledo, Eastern Michigan, Western Michigan, I'm all over Ryan Burton. I love Ryan Burton. He should have been first team all-conference.
That's Ryan Krieger getting helped off the field, the sophomore running back here for the Shamrocks. And, Ryan Burton played as a true freshman, played as a freshman.
Awesome. He's awesome. And when he gets into a program at the next level, he can get up, Jeff, to probably about 230, and maybe you can move him down to Mike backer.
No, it's true.
Or he can play outside backer. He is a tremendous prospect that if I'm a MAC school, I would be all over.
Yeah, no, he's got that kind of frame. So we're going to take a break here as third quarter ends. We'll head into the fourth quarter. It's Westfield up 42-9. You're watching Indiana High School football here on Summit City Sports. Welcome back, everybody. 3rd and 1 from the 36-yard line. And trying to break it out wide was Pfeiffer. Good job by Luke Palmer, but I do believe Pfeiffer's got the first down.
How good has Palmer been this year? Over 100 tackles, was preseason All-State, and you talk about laying it down and backing it up. That's what Palmer has done this year. And all those tackles, Jeff, he didn't play the first game. Watch Palmer slice on this. Look at this right here. Look at that. He's on that and makes the play. Nobody can read and react better than Luke Palmer.
He might be heading to Wheaton College to go play ball for Coach Mike Swider.
I'll tell you, if he does, they got themselves a ball player, my friend.
I don't know if you know much about Wheaton College, but the Rolling Thunder over there out of Wheaton, Illinois, they play in the CCIW. Them and North Central are 2 of the top Division III programs in the whole country.
Well, I'll tell you, wherever he goes, somebody's going to get themselves a ball player. He's had a fantastic season, and he's kind of been gimpy the last few weeks with that ankle, and he continues to play hard. Kid's an absolute winner, and he's going to be an all-state selection.
No, Wheaton College, that's some serious football right there.
Boy, big-time ball.
2nd and 9 here for the Rocks from the 34, 10-50 and counting in the fourth quarter. And Palmer with another tackle. That time it was number 23, Grant Harlow with the carry.
Yeah, double-digit tackles now for Palmer as Westfield's got their backups in now. So Westfield's content with this lead. They're going to get some time for their backups. Let's see if Homestead can stop this, the backups, and they get the backup quarterback in there now, too, for Westfield, Jeff.
Luke Palmer's playing hurt.
He is playing hurt. He's got double-digit tackles, and I tell you, absolutely tough kid, refused, wanted to be out there with his teammates, and has just fought till the end. And what a great season Palmer has had. And it's been a joy to watch him play high school football, Jeff.
Timeout, Westfield.
The quarterback for the Rocks right now, that's...
Take a 6 of 8, 6 again.
Well, we'll grab his number in a second here. We'll be right back after this break.
Visit don'ttoughthisstuff.com to learn more and spread the word.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Keep it 100.
Joe, the new quarterback here for Westfield's number 14, Nick Talley. He's a senior that started off the year 34 of 54, 486 yards passing, 63% completion percentage, 5 touchdowns, 2 INTs for the Rocks. That time, taking the ball was number 5.
Yeah, an update for you. We thought it was a final, but it wasn't. Maryville comes back and actually beats Elkhart 27-24. So we thought Elkhart had won that game, so that means that Westfield will travel up to Maryville. And, boy, I'm surprised by that because, man, Chittard really laid it on Maryville this year. But, boy, Maryville continues to win those playoff games, my friend.
Grant Harlow in the backfield, along with Talley. You know, this is one of those situations you can't ask these guys to let up, even though their team's up 42-9. But you're a third stringer. You get your chance to play. It's time to play ball. That was a great tackle in the backfield by our guy, number 57, Jackson Chrisman.
Boy, how about Jackson? Boy, if they could have got him in maybe a little bit early, but if you watch that in the Traction AP replay, you know, Homestead's bringing some pressure that time and got in the backfield. So good play that time with Homestead. And look at Jackson get off that block and make that play beautiful. Pad level, balance, and makes that play.
Jackson Crispin, a young player, just a sophomore. Good-looking prospect here for the Homestead Spartans.
A lot of good young players for Homestead when you look across the roster.
Ever since they developed Class 6A, no team from Northeast Indiana. That's an interception for Homestead. Picking it off is Desmond Smith, running back. He'll take it all the way to the 44-yard line.
Yeah, good job that time by Desmond Smith. And just a bad read by Talley. Tries to throw it in there, and Smith sitting in his zone and makes the play. So good reaction by Desmond Smith. I tell you, those junior corners for Homestead, Keyser and Smith, have played well this year.
From the Westfield 49-yard line.
See, I'm trying to stick it in there, Jeff. You see that? Just too many bodies in there for Homestead. Nobody's open there, and Talley makes a mistake, and Smith gets the interception. And I tell you again, Smith and Keyser, the defensive backs, only juniors, have played well for Homestead this year.
For Desmond Smith, that's his third INT on the season. Smith, just a junior at 5'7", 145. New quarterback in for Homestead on 1st and 10 from the 49-yard line. And wow, thrown down in the backfield. That was number 7 for the Spartans, Nick Sudar.
And boy, did he get dropped quick on that one, Jeff. So good defense for Westfield. And a little update, Pioneer beat Andrean tonight, Jeff. So Bishop Luers will host the semi-state next week against Pioneer. So good news for Bishop Luers. They won't have to travel next week.
Grady Swing, the quarterback, into the game for Homestead. That is good news. 2nd and 10 after the no gain.
Woo, man, that's a missile coming up to make that tackle on that. Wow. I thought Sparrow had a little more room, but we'll have to check the number for Westfield. But check the traction AP replay on that and watch the missile that comes up out of the secondary. Sparrow gets it on the jet sweep. Watch Sparrow on the jet sweep. You got to plant it outside leg and make that cut. Right there, boys, look at that. Come up. Woo! That's how you come up and make a tackle out of the secondary for Westfield.
3rd and 10 now from the 49-yard line. Now on the wide receiver screen, that's number 85 for the Spartans, Mason Oxer.
Yeah, pretty good catch by Oxler out there. But let's see what Homestead does here. I'd go ahead and go for it. It's 4th down. See if you can get a first down. These are some pretty good reps for your backups right now for Homestead.
And that brings up 4th down for the Spartans.
Fourth down. Sudarth in the backfield. They're going to go for it. Starters out of the game here on offense for Homestead. Both teams going with their second units. 6:32 remaining.
Nice.
That ball is complete. That's number 88, Manny Rivera.
Nice pass by Grady Swing. Plants the back leg and sticks it in there. Beautiful. It's the seam route to the slot that time, and Swing throws a nice ball on that. Nice job, Grady Swing.
Bring up 1st and 10 from the 32. Swing is a junior at 6'3", 180. On the out, completes it to number 82. That's Gavin Kozak.
Yeah, good defense by Westfield. And that time they run to the football. So really impressed with Westfield. You know, Westfield's well coached, very disciplined. And now Westfield's got a lot of guys getting reps too. So, boy, I tell you, it's going to be Maryville now, but they're going to be in trouble against Westfield. And I tell you, that Westfield and probably Center Grove in the state championship game will be a heck of a game, Jeff.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest difference between these two teams entering today was Homestead had to go up against Snyder, then a hard-fought game against Warsaw, 30-22, and Westfield just rolled 35-0 against Noblesville, 31-0 against Fishers. Their starters have been chilling in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they have. They have
literally
really.
tonight.
That's right. And they've got a lot of guys getting reps, which when you build a program, that's what you want. You want to get a lot of guys reps. So just felt like, you know, Maximus Webster was the difference, and also Homestead's choice to stay in the cover 2 was also a big factor in tonight's game.
Into the game now at QB is number 18. That's Peyton Slavin, a sophomore.
Lots of talent with Slavin. I was excited to be able to see Slavin. We're going to see who will be the quarterback next year, but Slavin has just boatloads of talent.
5'11", 150 pounds. Spread formation. Slavin's going to take off himself, and he'll be tackled right around the first down marker. Gain of about 6 yards. He takes it to the 22.
Slavin needs to hang out with me in the weight room this offseason, because if you watch that play, Slavin's got the ability. He recognizes the play and plants to get upfield to make that play. Slavin is really quick, lots of talent, and he can throw the football. So I really like his upside, Jeff.
5 minutes and counting. Homestead looking for their first score since the first quarter. Slavin drug down about the 18-yard line.
I tell you, all these people here on the west side, I'm still confused why we couldn't get up in that press box, right, my friend? But chicken wings are on me after this, and I might just sit at the table and hold the chicken wings and see if I can warm up with those, my friend.
We're definitely sitting next to the heater. 4:30 and counting with the Rocks up. 42-9. Homestead came out Nate Anderson in that Wildcat. You know, they're really mixing things up on offense as Slavin takes it to the 10.
I like Slavin. Slavin does a nice job of reading that play and making that. Take a look at that in the Traction AP replay. Slavin's got the ability to get upfield on that. So that's a great looking play, Jeff. Watch Slavin on the read. See, he puts it in the belly. You recognize it. Plants the outside leg, drops the pads, and makes a nice play.
We've been seeing that from Maximus Webster all game long for Westfield. Rivera in motion. Slavin this time nowhere to go. That'd be a loss about 3 on the play.
Yeah, good defense that time. Westfield blitzes that time. So this is where maybe if you can find the one-on-one, man-to-man matchup, Slavin might be able to put that ball out in the end zone. Maybe you can get a play out of a wide receiver out wide, Jeff.
Second down for Homestead.
Sudarth offset right. Slavin out of the shotgun. Just takes off himself. That's going to be another loss. This one a loss of 2 yards.
Yeah, that's where Homestead needed to throw the football there. You got to let your young quarterbacks get some experience. Put that ball in the air and take a shot at the end zone. Got 3 minutes left in this game. Let's take a shot at the end zone, see if we can't get a touchdown. These are very valuable reps. I know it's the regional game, the game's out of hand, but for young quarterbacks, these are very valuable reps.
Carter Worth, the left tackle, 6'1", 215, just a sophomore for Homestead. Here on 3rd and 14, will they take a shot looking for the end zone? Slavin's going to take off, and oh man, taking a big hit. That's not going to feel good on this cold night.
No, that's a big hit by Westfield to make that play, and that's going to be a turnover on downs, and I imagine we're
Fourth
probably
down.
Yeah, that I imagine. Oh, I'm sorry, Jeff. It's 4th down now. They never did move the down marker over there. So I'd take a shot in the end zone here. I would tell them, look, put the ball up in the air and see if somebody can make a play in the end zone.
Alex Wolf coming up to make the big hit for Westfield. Slavin has a man, and that's right through the hands of number 88.
It's a good pass. Slavin recognized that and put some mustard on the ball, and Homestead just couldn't come up with it. So Westfield gets the stop there, and so I imagine maybe we'll see a knee here. But, boy, dominant performance with Westfield. Westfield goes on the road against Maryville next week, and, boy, I think Westfield's going to absolutely hammer Maryville, but we'll see, you know. And
you're saying that's up in the region.
That's up in the region, but man, oh man, Maryville better figure out something with Maximus Webster. And I definitely, if I'm Maryville, I wouldn't play the cover 2.
First and 10 from the 16-yard line here. Westfield with their 3rd quarterback of the game. They're going to hand it off to a brand new running back. That is numbers at 35 down on the field.
What's going to be interesting is
that's Hunter Harris.
What's interesting is, you know, New Haven went down and beat Pioneer in the regular season, so that's who Lures gets in the semi-state next week. So, boy, of all the Fort Wayne teams left in the playoffs, I wouldn't have given you Bishop Lures about 3 or 4 weeks ago. If you said, hey, Joe, who's the one team that make it to semi-state? I wouldn't have given you. I know it's two-way
ball, man.
I know it's two-way ball, but boy, oh boy.
1st and 7. Harris with another carry.
Speaking
of the 23.
Speaking of two-way ball, I know they're 1A South Adams. They beat Southwood tonight 48-35. They've got no business being in 1A, my friend. South Adams, at the very least, should be in 2A.
That's Cole Ballard, sophomore QB, 6'2", 200. Yeah, they will be if they keep winning the way they are.
They should be. They've got no business being in 1A. And I think South Adams will win that state championship, Jeff.
3rd and 3 as South Adams coming in, number 1 ranked team in Class 1A. Harris once again with the carry. Looks like he might be just short of a 1st down.
Yeah, and that's Palmer making another tackle, and that might be the last tackle of Luke Palmer's fantastic high school career.
Outstanding career.
Tell you what, he was awesome. You know, Cole Etchinson was awesome. You know, Ryan Burton, what a fantastic high school football player Burton has been, Jeff.
Last year was Adams Central losing in the regional game to Adams Central 19-7. So getting up and beating Southwood, an undefeated team this year. That's a huge W for that team. This is going to do it. 17.9 seconds remains.
Still a great season for Homestead. Where Homestead started the season at, and 2 years in a row they held the bell. They've won sectional championships. For Homestead to finish, it's a disappointing game tonight, but they came a long way and had a great season.
Well, folks, thanks so much for joining us. I'm Jeff Mahoney. We had Joe Walburn here in the booth outside in the cold, along with Thomas Nolan on camera. Great season for Homestead. Just comes up short. Westfield wins its 5th regional championship in program history, their first since 2016. Thanks again for joining us.
We have to do this. A bit of a hill. His mother said, if you're coming to school, you got to bring your sister because they have to go and work in the fields. So this kid carries his 1-year-old sister everywhere. A lot of those kids don't eat in the morning. A lot of those kids, the only place they do eat is at that school.
I thought going up that mountain, Mary's meals can reach everywhere that there's a hungry child.
You see what happens after a simple meal? It just came to life.
Love reaches everywhere.
Parkview Sports Medicine's integrated sports medicine team is built to serve the needs of all athletes in all sports. Our team's only goal is to improve athletes in every facet. PSM offers performance training to help athletes get better on the field, dedicated athletic rehabilitation and physical therapy to help them get better off of it, certified athletic trainers in our PSM schools providing daily support to our athletes, and a specialized orthopedic walk-in clinic when injury strikes. Call 260-266-4007 to speak to our care navigators or visit ParkviewSportsMedicine.com to learn more about what we can do to improve athletes at all levels. Parkview Sports Medicine. Become more.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our camera. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
Joint pain, sprains, strains, or a possible broken bone? Make the Parkview Ortho Express walk-in clinic your first stop when you have an orthopedic or sports injury. Parkview Ortho Express, located at the Sport One Parkview Fieldhouse, gives you access to quick care and orthopedic physicians when you need it most. Get x-rays, treatment, and referrals to Parkview Care, all in the convenience of a walk-in clinic. Call 260-266-4007 for more information.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Someday, you'll get your knee replaced. Someday, a new hip. Someday can be sooner than you think. At Parkview Ortho Hospital, we want to help you get moving again. So we offer a full range of options for joint pain, including outpatient joint replacements and personalized solutions. It's time to reclaim your life at Parkview Ortho Hospital, because someday is today. Learn more at parkview.com/ortho. Parkview, we believe in better.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcast. When the Homestead girls golf team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories, and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
Keep it 100.
This is an invitation to join a movement propelled by people who care and members who have a share in the place they bank.
Good morning, Sam.
So when you have the chance to get your first home loan, you know an expert will guide you every step of the way. Or when it's time to buy your new car, you'll be treated like more than just a credit score.
Good news, ProFed can get you that payment.
This is an invitation to a place where simply belonging can help